them down.
All right, so
Oh man.
stream is starting right now. We're just doing a little like cold open, you know. So
Yeah.
get the.
Can I do the saxophone to They Reminisce Over You?
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
Can I
definitely.
do that?
Heck yeah.
Oh,
What a freaking classic! I love that
When
song.
They Reminisce Over You, my God. I bought that whole album and it's just it's like me going out onto the front porch with my tobacco pipe and just
It's super New York, that's for sure.
it
I
definitely
believe it.
is New York. Oh yes, totally New York.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's actually my my choice. I don't do like cannabis or anything. I do tobacco from a pipe though. Like I pipe
Oh,
smoke. So I stuff. I do everything, and it's just like that's my like thing. I do it very very rarely, but when I do, like now that the weather's getting nicer,
yeah.
I'll be out there like when like the kids are asleep. You know what I mean? Because I don't want
Yeah.
them to see me like doing it.
Of,
You know what I
of
mean?
course.
So,
No, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to just like go out there and put on like Sinatra on my front porch or like that or you know or what's another one
It's just
that I put
classy.
on out there?
It's just
Like
classy.
chill stuff, you know, nothing
Yeah.
crazy. Like what is that? Billy Joel's Fantasies and Delusions, the whole piano album that he put out. I'll put that on. It's just yeah.
I feel you. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
If I do that, I'm usually kind of just listening to like sounds. It's not even like music, it's just sounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people in the middle of making a track, which I think is like no, I'm serious. I think something like that is extremely interesting. Like
It's great.
just the production that goes into making a track, and you're hearing these exact same sounds like a million times. And then you start to hear it becoming a like a beat or becoming like the entire part of a song, and it's amazing.
I sampled the drums in Give Peace a Chance by John and Yoko.
Okay.
And so I looped it, and it's like that, and it just flows so well.
Yeah.
And then I like put that beat like just over another drum beat layered under it, and it's just so good. When you get the right like sample, you feel it, you know.
It's just amazing. Like my younger brother, he does like audio production and stuff like that. So I'm trying to dig into his head, and I'm just like, my God, what goes through your head when you know it's right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it could literally be like, burr, 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 and then it's like, oh yeah,
right,
right, just this epiphany or something happens to him. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There's a beat on Lupe's The Cool, and the only thing that's back behind it, other than like another like counter melody, is this random like skit from like this random like movie or whatever.
Yeah.
But whoever made that beat made it into a loop.
Okay.
And it's just so cool. And I forget what title of that song is.
Lupe, also, fun fact, one of the only Americans to beat Daigo Umehara at Street Fighter.
No, really?
Fun fact, yes.
That's
There's
right.
an actual YouTube video and everything. Yeah.
No.
100%.
Yeah. 1000%.
Well, I mean, he has a friggin' Nintendo DS on his Food and Liquor cover anyway. So
he plays games. He knows.
Oh yeah, he's legit.
Dabbles.
No, I knew that. I just didn't know that fact about him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And also a nice little fun fact: Snoop Dogg has joined the esports team FaZe.
That is also correct.
Really?
Yeah, for Call of Duty.
He is an honorary member of FaZe.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Things are and then there's also Post Malone on Apex.
Yeah.
Post Malone. I don't know a lot about Post Malone. So I can't really say too much, you know.
He's a class act, that guy. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
In terms of like new guys, he's a class act. He does things old school. I like appreciate that.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Oh, Gold Watch by Lupe Fiasco. That's the song.
Sounds like a pretty snatchy song. Okay, let me just take this out.
All right, all right.
All right, guys. So,
All right.
Rami, Jeremy,
Yo,
appreciate you guys for freaking joining me today for our, I guess, pre-season 2 starter episode of the podcast. We are, dude, I'm happy to be back. Honestly, it's been a while. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to have this moment here with Jeremy from the Nostalgia Alchemist channel. Super awesome.
Yeah.
The mouse of
that
Squeaks
you're
is here.
excited.
Hey, mouse.
I'm excited that you're excited. It is the season we're following the Borderlands formula, you know, like the pre-sequel. Just
That's
not quite the sequel, but it is a sequel. But we're almost.
yeah. It's the pre to the sequel to the pre to the sequel to the pre to the sequel to the pre. Right? Something like that. Whatever the thing they did.
3 to the Izzo, S to the
S to
equal.
exactly.
For Cheezy.
Oh man.
Okay. But yes, no, thank you guys so much. This is
Yeah.
this is, like I said, the pre-season episode. We have dubbed it Back in My Day. So that is the episode title. We got probably the best nostalgic or retro dude that we could possibly think of here with us. I don't know if you want to do a little intro for yourself, Jeremy.
For me? Yeah, sure, of course. Well, hi everybody, my name is Jeremy Lardiri and I am the Nostalgia Alchemist and I am always here for whenever you remember why. I do of course have a channel on Twitch. I am starting to rebrand after my old brand unfortunately could not be trademarked, so I'm kind of starting from a little bit more of a ground up. I also do have a podcast available wherever you get your choice of podcasts. The YouTube channel is a bit null and void at the moment, but I do hope to pick that up soon. And of course, I will not be using just VODs and podcasts to put onto that YouTube channel. It will be unique and only to that channel it will be episodic. So you won't find what you find on YouTube on Twitch. You won't find what you find on Twitch in the podcast. Everything is all its own entity. So wherever you see me, you are going to get something different every time. And of course, I'm on social media. You can find me at The Nostalgia Alchemist. And of course, I always tell all of my fans and all of my viewers and listeners to always take care of yourselves and each other. And I am always here for whenever you remember why.
That was way more professional than the thing that we do.
that just makes me feel like I have a lot to learn.
I gotta really get back into getting better at this. Yes, thank you so much for that. You guys know where to find him.
Yeah.
If you don't, I'm gonna put it up in the chat a little bit later so you guys check that out. As you already know, me, El Chizo, and Ramigali, we've been here since day one. We're missing 2 of our boys. We're missing Duct Tape and we're missing Angel, but you know what? They'll be back in the next episode. Right now, we're gonna deal with stuff that the old guys like us might be able to, remember. Things that are like, oh man, hey, I remember those days. Hey, you know what? Shoot, I remember when the Goofy movie came out. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Dang. It's a good thing that Angel isn't here because this would be a little bit out of his age range, and we can tell him I said that.
Oh yeah. Oh heck yeah. This is this is like the back room with the curtain at Blockbuster. He's not allowed there yet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, or my personal favorite, whenever you went over to a family member's house and all the older kids like sat in the room and they're like, "Hey, you're too young for this. Like, get out."
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you have that one like uncle who has that one locked closet and they're like, you shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
Don't go in there.
Yeah.
Don't even like bother.
Exactly. God.
There's an age requirement.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get out right now. But yes,
It's the equivalent of having a little brother and like he wants to play your Super Nintendo, so you unplug the controller. Be like, here, you can do things.
Yeah. And then you start having
Right.
like you're playing arcade Street Fighter Turbo, and you're like, "Oh my god, he's killing me," because the computer is just being relentless that round. Oh my god, how do I explain this? But yes, he's too young for the basement. Oh my gosh.
Oh Lord.
But yes, okay. So definitely going to talk about things that are a lot more older school. We're going to bring up some stuff that might be a little bit up your guys' alley. But the first thing I do want to talk about, do you guys remember original arcades? We're talking about these places don't have like card systems. They don't have like anything crazy like pay $10, you get to play for an hour type deal, free play. We're talking about nitty and gritty. We're talking about quarters in your pocket, or unless you're playing the Aerosmith game, then you got like a nickel or something like that. We're talking real deal arcades, sticky floors. You know what I'm talking about. What do you
Oh,
what are you
man.
guys' memories of OG
Spilled
arcades?
soda on the joystick
Yeah.
that was like kind of cleaned up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Arcades that actually had so much wear on certain machines that they had to get multiple copies of that machine in there, and there's such a long queue because the other ones had busted buttons. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And then you always remembered, you always had to like come back and be like, oh yeah, I can't play on left side. I gotta play on right side because
Uh-huh.
if I don't, then I'm gonna lose 100%.
My
Yep.
favorite thing was the ones that were broken or confirmed broken, and they had the taped up 25-cent slots,
Yeah.
and then you had to go through the player 2 slot to activate player 1.
I miss that. You can't do
Yep.
that anymore.
Nah.
No. And then there were those people who were bold enough, like when you had an arcade stand at like, let's say like a beach club or whatever, where they just kind of let the arcades like stand wherever there's no supervision or whatever. They would open the console and they would find the clicker to give themselves credits.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
That was risky.
Yeah, that was really big.
I left at that point. I was like, I'm not getting in that kind of trouble.
That was so
Nope.
big when people
Yep.
started like cheating the machines at Chuck E. Cheese. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my
oh
gosh.
man. Jesus. I just remember trying to go play like friggin' Time Crisis, Street Fighter, Tekken, like all these like nostalgia games. Hell, even Cruisin' World and Cruisin' USA.
Oh, heck
Daytona was my jam.
Daytona.
Daytona.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh man.
I just
94. That game came out in 94. Now think about this.
Mhm.
You've got in 94 8 of those linked up together, and at the time you're not considering how bad the graphics were. You were considering how much potential it had. Because if you're able to race with 7 other people and the graphics were that smooth at 60 frames a second in an arcade with other people, that just had to put a light bulb in some modern day game developers' heads as a kid being like, this is the future.
Oh yeah.
heck yeah.
Because a lot of those arcade games followed that formula. Like even some today, like there are modern like Mario Kart like for arcade purposes that are actually still linked up together. Like it's kind of nutty.
I just saw one at the Chuck E. Cheese that my son went to for his birthday. The
Mhm.
two of them sitting right next to each other. It's like a no-brainer when you want to have that kind of cooperative play. And actually, Cheese, you and I, about a month and a half ago, that's exactly what we were doing. We were literally passing the I shouldn't say that. We were virtually passing the controller back and forth to each other.
Yeah, but they don't have to
through
know
the
that.
internet.
They don't have to know that.
But that was so cool though. Like that's exactly what it should be. It should be like, here, it's your turn.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I've noticed that I'm starting to have more fun doing that than I am doing this whole multiplayer online experience. I much rather feel like, say, you know, I have an extra chair right here. You know what I mean? I'd much rather feel like you were right here and I was literally like doing the thing and I had to like move the console up a little bit because the wire wasn't long enough. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
Yep.
That's what I enjoy. That's what I remember. Like I grew up with 3 other brothers. You know what I mean?
Dude.
I never remember like huddling at the game consoles, whatever it was, if it was Nintendo or if it was Atari or if it was Super Nintendo or whatever. You know, I remember sitting there and just being like, we're all doing this thing.
Can we talk
Feels so
about the
good.
cable link for the controllers, by the way? It was a friggin' science having the optimal placement with the console with the TV so the TV could be connected to the console and then having enough distance for the console wire or the console controller wire to reach you and the second player. Like it was an absolute science.
Yep, and you had to optimize the space that you were in so that you could be able to kind of finagle it around just enough So you could either get more people next to you, or that you could like inch the console towards you.
Oh man! And then the nerve-wracking anxiety of inching the console forward because these cartridges would literally freeze or brick the moment you even touch the console.
Oh yeah.
Like, I cannot tell you how many times.
Stay aligned. Form the line, please.
Oh man!
So I recently got a Retron, and Retron console systems are top loaders. So when I put my Nintendo cartridge in it, I'm just like, please, for the love of God, don't move.
Right.
Like, please. One small move and Mario's jumping on water for some reason. Oh my God.
Man.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
I just but to be fair, I wouldn't trade those experiences for the world. Like, it really kind of defined, in my personal opinion, kind of defined people that actually knew how to actively troubleshoot certain things. Yeah. It's like, cool, my game's not working. What do? Turn it off and on again. Cool, that didn't work. Remove the game, put it back in there, try it again. Like, it taught you patience.
No.
Yeah.
No.
This is the one I have.
No. Oh, that's the Retron 3, I think.
This is the Super Retro Tri-C 3+ from
3+, yeah.
I think it's from Retrobit.
It might be. It looks like
it's not Hyperkin. It's definitely Retrobit.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I also was able to get what is that, the Superboy? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
That you could play your Super Nintendo games portably.
Oh, the cartridge.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I was showing this off a little while ago. I feel like I enjoy like doing that because I get a chance. This is an original transfer pack for the Nintendo 64 to play Pokemon Yellow and Red and Silver and stuff like that. This is like a huge piece of history because I don't know a lot of people with these anymore.
I still have it. I still have my original transfer pack. Yeah.
I even have like an extra like 32 was it megabyte
like the video memory for the N64?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. It came with certain games. Like I remember looking at it like, wait.
There you go. It's gotta work though. It's gotta work.
It works.
Okay. Yeah, we got first time chatter for an A-Lig. I actually have mine as well. Look at that. Look at that. I love it. I love it.
A trifecta. We just kind of we have them ready. Like wait, time. We have them ready and available. Like they're not stored. They're ready to go.
Tell me you played Pokemon games on your Game Boy when you had them at the ready without telling me you had them at the ready.
Exactly.
Right, it's like a TikTok. It's like I have a transfer pack.
Dude,
I'll one up that. The memory card for the N64.
Oh, I have one in there. I have one in my thing, but I have the 64 right here.
Oh my God, man. Like I remember getting upset because I didn't know I needed a memory card for certain games on the N64. I was like, I thought this was still like the SNES and like the Sega, like just go and you're good. And then it's like, hey, your progress is gone. And I'm like, what?
This is just slowly turning into three guys nerd out about video games. Video game peripherals and accessories.
Dude, like people don't understand how hard it was for us to like kind of live out the gamer dream back in the day. It's like we would be like playing Pokemon on our handhelds. It's like, man, sometimes we wish you could play this on the big screen. And then Pokemon Stadium came out. They're like, guess what, gamers? You can play your Pokemon adventure right on the big screen. And we're like, what?
So Ram had like a really good video that I want to pull up right now. We're gonna switch scenes for 1 second. I gotta show you this really quick. So back in the day, you know, the Game Boy, you know, it didn't have a backlight. Let me was so small and everything. So they tried They tried the best in the world to like make this portable system feel as big as possible. Right, but before I switch the screen, Thundermouse says all my N64 stuff and my SNES stuff is in the basement. You got to take that stuff out and enjoy it right now because it's got a shelf life.
Dude, a little bit of pretense to that. Yeah. I remember many a times playing on my Game Boy, trying to beat these levels before my battery dies. And then the sun goes down and it's like, no, I'm so close. And then hovering over a street lamp just to get enough light to beat this damn game.
Do you guys remember?
And it's just like...
Do you guys remember? Obviously. you guys remember that like a lot of games for the Game Boy did not have like a built-in memory card or a built-in
Hmm.
memory like unit. So
So you had to beat the game.
you had to beat it.
You either had to beat the game or you had a password system.
And those past like
Oh
I
yeah.
would rather fight I'd rather fight like Brock Lesnar hand to hand to the death than put one of those password systems in.
My God, you also had to be ready to write them down because who realistically was gonna memorize those?
Nope.
No,
And this is before the age of like, this is during the age of dial-up internet. No one really wanted to deal with dial-up internet.
heck no.
Even before, like if your parents had pen and paper in their car for an emergency to take down information, you asked them, "Hey, can I borrow your pen and paper?" And you're making a small grid of A through E and 1 through like 6 for your Mega Man passwords, and you're filling in
Oh my
circles, and
God.
your parents are like, "What are you doing?" And they're like,
It's a Mega Man X thing.
I'm planning for my future.
There you go.
Little did all of us like were well. The other thing too is, don't sit so close to the television; it'll rot your brain.
Yeah.
Don't play all those video games; you'll have no more imagination.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do for the rest of your life? Girls
Oh,
just want to have
man.
fun, you know. But now we hear about stories about people who were in their 20s creating the first text adventures on video games.
Yeah.
You hear about
Mhm.
people who were in their early or late teens, I should say, late teens, just trying to get through college. And then all of a sudden, they find that they are living in Seattle and they're like, Nintendo is like not too far from me. Maybe I can get like an internship there or something that involves video games. And all of a sudden, you become a Nintendo Power hotline
Oh my
consultant.
God.
Like you don't really consider the lengths that some of these young people had to go to for their families to be like, okay, you're making a living doing something that should be despised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
now look,
during.
it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Oh yeah.
Especially with a lot of conservative parents who are like, no, this is like gaming, this is the devil, you're gonna like just fall to Satan. And there was this whole like media thing, like the ESRB wasn't even a thing until Mortal Kombat came out.
Yeah.
I mean, they even said that about Dungeons and Dragons in the early 80s. They made a terrible television movie starring Tom Hanks called I forget what it's called, but they made up a game within the television movie called Mazes and Monsters.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
were talking about
no.
how it's so satanistic and whatever. And I'm just looking at this going, I remember people talking like that.
I remember
And
praising Satan.
they banned Pokemon from our school
man.
because it talked about evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rough.
Like that's a big thing.
Speaking of bonus things
yeah.
that gaming has kind of given us, they say that those that grew up with Pokemon and learned to memorize the 150 and like play all those games unlocked a certain part of their brain to help with memorization. Like there are actual studies about that.
Yeah. Oh, of course. There's statistics. There are statistics for the statistics because if you are learning the stats of all of these Pokemon and the numbers just go up and up and up, you're going to talk to somebody who's probably about, let's say, I'd say for a healthy 23, 24-year-old who's really into Pokemon.
Yeah.
And by really, I mean like that is they have dedicated their life and time as a 23-year-old. They go to work, they pay a bill, they play Pokemon, and they know all those stats. That's not unheard of for people like us, but it's unheard of for people who are like, how is that contributing to society? Whereas I am saying, where I say to them, well, what do you do when you get home from work after a long day? What's the first thing you do? You turn on your radio.
Heck yeah.
You look at your phone. You watch a movie. You watch television. I'm sorry. Like the argument of you're not contributing unless you like don't like food. You're not gonna like win me with that argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that argument is null and void to me.
Yeah.
Like I trained to be an entertainer. and people who are learning how to do social media and Twitch and I guess you would call it content creation.
Yeah.
I don't like to call it that because those barriers are being broken every day.
Definitely.
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
And you're learning to be an entertainer. So all of that, learning those like useless pop culture facts and stuff actually are making people money.
Yeah.
Where's the argument?
We got a statement here. Jeremy, that has to do with church ruling the school system. It's the same reason why so many schools have horrible sex ed classes as well. Yeah.
It's a mixed bag.
Right.
It's
Well,
a mixed bag.
Right, and I already knew that because that's what I was referencing. I just didn't want to outright say it because, you know, it could be any school that just outright bans it for any reason, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, for us out here, at least for me in LA, they were like, we're banning this because it's very popular and we don't want you guys to be distracted.
Yeah.
And if we see them, we'll confiscate them and you'll get them at the end of the day, or we'll tell your parents. Like that's as far as the extent of that went, like here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's ultimately kind of the same thing, that it just wanted to keep it out of people's hands because it was popular.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Beverly Hills thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's popular, we're banning it, and then everybody like wears it, or like everybody sneaks it into their backpack.
Man, I cannot tell you how many times I snuck my Pokemon game into my 5th grade class, played underneath the slit in the desk, with volume down, trying to beat like my classmate who's literally next to me with a link cable. Like, it's ridiculous.
I'll never, you know what? I remember very distinctly where I was and what I was doing the day that I beat Blaine on Cinnabar Island to get the volcano badge. I was in the middle of a dance competition, and it was about 15 minutes before I had to do another routine, and I'm standing there with another like friend next to me and another guy next to me, and I'm just like, I'm so close. Don't let don't bump the number up.
This Magmar needs to die.
I just want to save. And I saved my game, dropped my Game Boy, and ran to do this like routine.
Oh my
God. I'll never forget that. That's like a core memory for me, being like performer Pokemon.
Oh, dude. Like, honestly, I feel like we all cumulatively have a bunch of those memories simply because we had conditions to meet. It's either our batteries were gonna die.
Oh yeah.
We had no save point. And we had no way of like just not finishing something because otherwise we'd go back to the beginning. Like, just to Jeremy's point, like I friggin' beat the Elite Four while I was at Six Flags in a queue to go on Goliath.
Oh, I love that ride.
Like I was next and I was beating friggin' Lance and I was just like, yo, I need to beat Lance. Like, I do not want to go on Goliath. Like, I need to beat Lance.
God, I wish I could.
You're like standing there and you're like, go ahead.
No. Go.
Like, go. My battery's about to die. I need to do this now.
this Dragonite, just this much.
Man.
Every boy needs a dragon. That's actually like my friend Chris. He bought my son a toy Dragonite, and the letter to him was, "Happy birthday, AJ. Every boy needs a dragon. Enjoy yours." And I was like, he's right. But he's right. Every boy needs a dragon. And Dragonite, Dragonite. Little did he know, Dragonite's my favorite Pokemon. Oh yeah. All
right. Man, just a lot of like bitter, like, no, just like a lot of satisfying, rewarding, like frustrating situations, man. It's just like
yeah,
it's a good time. All right,
it's a great time.
So let's move forward to this video really quick. I'm gonna switch the thing over.
That's right. We went on a whole tangent.
Sorry, about 6.5 minutes ago we were gonna switch screens.
Yeah, here we go. Transition.
Hey,
there we go. That was faster than I thought it was gonna be. Actually, I should probably fix that.
Yeah.
But yes, check this out. I think this is hilarious. I don't know. Let me see if I can get it so that you guys can check it out. Sorry, it's gonna do a thing.
Do the thing.
There we go.
Jun Lee, do the thing.
There, do the thing.
Okay. Yeah. So
can you guys see this now on the Discord?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Oh my god! All right, check this freaking thing out. Ready?
Okay.
There we go. So this is 1.
That's 2.
That's
3. That's 4. That's
the same one.
4.
That's 5.
That's 6.
That's the game.
No, that's a
the game.
cartridge.
That's the
Yep.
game. That's 7.
8. Oh, 7. 7.
That's
9.
no. Well, look at
That's
this
8.
thing.
Just
Let me pause it right there. Look at this. I can't even really see the original piece, like the original Game Boy anymore. I can't even see it.
These are the lengths we went to.
So this is the light version. Like, you know, I don't know if I'm not sure if you have the super like gigantic
beefy Game Boy attachment
with the speakers on the side, and it
Oh,
had all this
man.
other
I know what
stuff.
you're
You know
talking
what I
about.
mean?
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my
Dude.
gosh.
Out of all those accessories, I legit only had the side light.
I didn't even have that, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even.
I
have
got
that.
so frustrated. I got so
had
frustrated.
We're gonna
I
jump
had
back.
the one where you slide the light onto the top of the thick Game Boy, the original Game Boy. I had the one where you slide
Nice.
the light on top, and it had 4 AA batteries to turn the light on, so I didn't have to worry about finding the street lights.
Oh
my
my
parents thought ahead for me for some reason. They were just
Oh,
like, "Here,
man.
So we got a statement here. We got to.
Dragonite upsets me visually. I like its design, but the fact that Dratini and Dragonite are beautiful, elegant ones and turn into that orange fat Barney.
He's so dumpy looking.
He's really it's like the you look cute with your mouth closed kind of dragon.
Yeah, he's got a face. He's got a face for radio.
There's a specific Dragonite that I like. It's the one in Pokemon the first movie that has the messenger bag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh-huh.
because he has a purpose, though.
Right,
You know?
that's just a great visual for me. Every time I think of Dragonite or see a toy Dragonite, I'm like, where's his messenger bag?
See, and well, it's because they made him obsolete with the messenger bag because Delibird became a Pokemon, and then after that, whatever the seagull Pokemon is that has the bag, you know, from time in the show or whatever. But you know, Delibird became a thing, and he throws presents and all this other stuff. He's like the Santa Claus bird, you know. But
like people genuinely do not understand the struggle that a lot of us growing up with the foundation of like video game technology.
But Mouse does bring up a point. You got to think about that. Like you get Dratini and Dragonair, these beautiful, extremely elegant Pokemon. Dragonair just happens to be one of my favorite Pokemon. You know, if Hypno didn't exist, it might be my favorite Pokemon. But you know, you get this elegant, like, the sky serpent, you know, it's almost like Falcor, you know, you get this cool, like, dragon serpent, and it turns into this dumpy looking, like, friggin', I don't even know.
until Gen 2 came out, Arcanine was actually my favorite Pokemon, and then it became Typhlosion, and I never looked back.
Yeah, you should have looked back.
Just as a you should.
But you know, even going back to that, like the for Pokemon, like the memory thing, the 150, 151, whatever, and like conditioning yourself to like getting unlocking this part of your brain where you're like, oh man, I can remember all this stuff now. What is the thing that happens when your brain cells die and you relock that? Because now I see these new Pokemon, the brand newest ones, and I'm like duck, fire crocodile, and green. That's how I remember that. That's how
I mentally checked out after Ruby and Sapphire. I mentally checked out.
X and Y kind of brought me back in because they had an abundance of Gen 1 Pokemon that I was actually familiar with how to use. So all of my teams that I make up from all the Pokemon that I ever play are all Gen 1 Pokemon. If I catch it, I'm like, okay, I know how to handle it.
I try my best to do that.
For me, I checked out at Ruby and Sapphire. I came back for Soul Silver, checked out again, and came back for Alpha Sapphire.
Okay.
I came back for Alpha Sapphire, but it had been a while for me. I think
they implemented a lot of the systems from X and Y, so that's why I was like, all right. They put it in a remake where it's like, all right, I can use this. These are new mechanics. I know how the original Sapphire was. I can make it work.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was about Pokemon. Maybe I just didn't have like the consoles because I didn't get like a lot of handhelds until later. Like I didn't have. I didn't have an original DS. I
didn't either.
I moved all the way until they had the limited edition Yoshi, like 3DS XL. That's when I got it. That's when I got a DS. So I got
Ooh,
the,
okay.
I got that one, and I got my wife the Legend of Zelda one. She's
Nice.
Oh, cool.
she got the gold with the, you know.
I went from Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance and then Advance SP, and then I didn't do the DS Lite. I did only when Smash came out, the 3DS XL Blue Smash Edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. Okay, I know which one. Chuck.
yeah. I think I still have it. Hold on.
Might be around. I remember after a while when my son was old enough, I got the DS, the regular DS, or was it? No, I think it was regular 3DS, but it was the Cobalt Luigi's Mansion edition. And it was
Oh,
just, I've
yeah.
never seen a console so beautifully blue. It is such a beautiful blue. I
Yeah,
love it.
that cobalt blue. I wish I had I wish I had a
Oh,
car
shiny.
like in that. That's the color. That's the
That's
color I want my
Yep.
car in.
That's a nice blue.
Yep.
That's a nice blue.
Like
Oh, boy.
this thing has been with me everywhere. I even took it to Japan because this is total tangent, but this is what I wish that the Nintendo Switch had, where it had the pass where you can meet other players and they give you rewards.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yep.
So
I wish the
yeah.
Switch had something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that would be cool because the 3DS had that, like, you pass by someone, and if you're in like the city like I was with the 3DS, you passed by people every day, and then all of a sudden, but you never saw them. You don't know what they look like, and you're trading puzzle pieces with them, and you're just like, I hope this guy's commute keeps up because he's giving me everything I need. Hope this guy
I
doesn't
messed
switch
up.
jobs
There
or
we go.
whatever, you know. And so you're, I really do wish that that was available with the Switch. I mean, pre-pandemic, I should say, you know, because that's when people were still on the move and
Yeah.
running around and everything, you know.
It was just a very missed opportunity.
Oh,
Like
Yeah, I agree.
I was like, I will consider using my Switch on the go if there was a mechanic like that. Got my Switch? Nope.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those little things. Like I remember, the more people that you met and all this other stuff, you could use them as friends for like for
That
like
mini
for
quest
the little
adventure?
mini quest adventure. We had to go up the castle and defeat like ghosts and all these other
I
monsters and stuff like that.
yes, oh my god, what's it called? Oh,
I feel like I should
not
just boot up my 3DS.
not Find Me. It's
No. I can't remember what it
Me
was.
something adventure, Me Sword Adventure, or something like that.
Yeah, Chad, if you know the answer, feel free to drop it in
Please
there.
just remind me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was super fun. I love doing that thing.
Chex
man.
Quest.
Chex Quest is amazing.
Sorry. I've never played Chex Quest. I
No?
just like to
Oh
shout
my
it out.
god.
No, I just like to shout it out when I don't know the name of a game.
I remember getting Chex Quest. Like legitimately
Really?
getting it off of a box of Chex.
That's
But I didn't have a
Wow.
computer at that time, so all it was a CD to me. But you know what? But I did have the original, or well, I did have Doom for Super Nintendo. So like, if I was able to like put it on the PC, I was just like, oh, it's Doom, you know? Awesome.
I love the
Man.
fact that now I have a PC again after 17 years of not having one, because all of the games that I didn't own because I never owned an Xbox or a PlayStation, all the games that came out on Steam, I'm just like, yes, finally I can like play Ultra Street
Oh my
Fighter
God.
4 and Street Fighter 5
I
and
love Street
Final
Fighter
Fantasy 15 and Doom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
okay, I will say this. I'm really bad at modern first-person shooters. Like I'm bad,
Mhm.
and not like Michael Jackson bad. Like I'm terrible. It's to the point where I'm playing like Doom Eternal first player,
Yeah.
and I'm barely scratching story mode, and I'm just like, how do they function? And it's funny because like 16-year-olds now will be like, then you're not a gamer. And I'm like, no. Don't bring that argument up to me, because when I was 16, everybody to me played a video game. You played a video game, you know?
Yeah.
But there were those people who were called, or at least I called them, Gramers.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you
Oh.
heard this term?
Yeah.
Okay, have you heard this term?
Yeah.
Okay, it's for those of you playing the home game, a Gramer back in the mid to late 2000s was considered a frat person
Yeah.
who either played Madden or Halo. That was about it. And the only video game question they asked you was, what's a better game, Madden or Halo? Their name was probably Chad.
Chad Gamers!
Flip-flops with khaki shorts, a random band you never heard of t-shirt, and a backwards cap with semi-long unkept hair.
There you go.
That's a Gramer.
Yeah. They're called
times have since changed.
They're Kyle's
that's
now.
what we had to deal
They're
with.
either Kyle's
They're Kyle's now.
or they're Chad Gamers.
Oh, they're Kyle's now. Oh, okay.
Or they're,
great. Now I know.
or they're actually or they're actually Chad Gamers now. That's just what it is. They're literally called Giga Chads or Chad Gamers.
I could extend it to FIFA, but I don't want to anger anyone who likes soccer because soccer is a global thing. So.
You can extend it to NBA 2K because NBA 2K became synonymous with the Madden question.
Really?
At a certain point, it did.
At a certain point. At a certain point.
And that's the thing too with like FIFA. FIFA's fun. Have you guys ever played like a FIFA game? It's super fun.
I haven't actually. That's why I also didn't want to like ruffle feathers.
The only FIFA game I ever owned / like played was FIFA 2011. But for the franchise, FIFA Street. Like I loved FIFA Street, I loved NFL Street, and I loved NBA Street. Like they were great.
Do you know those games are like they're like 15 years old now?
Please don't do that to me. I saw this. Speaking of not doing that to me, I saw this meme that really triggered me the other day.
Yeah.
Where it's like what we think Mario is from 20 years ago, and it's like Super Mario World and like the 16-bit world, and then it goes what 20 years ago for Mario actually is, and it's Super Mario fucking Sunshine.
Yeah, dude, isn't it crazy?
Yeah,
it's crazy that it's Super Mario Sunshine and it's not even 64. Like it's Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, it's GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? While we're at that thought process, let's segue into the question of the day, the freaking podcast question of the day. Here we go. You guys at home can play this too. I'm gonna take that from Jay for right now.
I'm gonna post that meme in the chat just so you guys know how upsetting that is.
At what point did certain things become nostalgic instead of normal?
That is a question that I can answer.
You have the floor.
Okay, so let me. Oh, I'm just looking at the meme that he put up. I just saw the meme and I'm just like thinking to myself, go on. Okay, say the question out loud one more time.
At what point did certain things become nostalgic instead of just normal?
At what point did certain things become nostalgic instead of just normal?
Yeah. That's just
okay.
Yeah.
So that question is actually part of what I research when dealing with nostalgia, and people don't really think of nostalgia as like something that you need to research. It's a feeling. But the thing with my performance and acting training is that you actually do need to do your research in order to get to the root of why you feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
So according to society, it's 7 years. According to you personally, it's when you feel that you have matured absolute out of something. So it's not necessarily a deep question. It's a question pertaining to how we need to visualize and accept what falls in and out of style. There is also the 30-year gap that I like to bring up in a lot of conversations lately. And I'll give you all a pretty good example of this.
Okay.
So in 1983, Billy Joel put out an album called An Innocent Man.
Yeah.
And he wanted to call back to his days growing up in the 50s with the sounds of doo-wop, of Little Richard, of even Elvis a little bit, but I would say like the real like nitty gritty Chuck Berry rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like the doo-wop stuff going into like the late 50s too. And that began a resurgence in the 80s of marketing 50s diner culture.
Okay.
So the 50s to the 80s was 30 years. And then you fast forward to Austin Powers in 1997, and you're bringing in this 30-year recycling of hippie culture and like make love not war in the 90s. So you had that. And then in the mid 2000s, you have this slow, like bell bottom disco, Daft Punk kind of, not quite
Okay.
Eurotrash music, but you have that sound reemerging on radio again, like ever so slightly, just coming out of the surgence of hip hop in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And then when you get to the 2010s, all of a sudden Stranger Things just takes 80s culture to a whole other level where everyone is a lot more free to to not be expected to fall into conformities. So people are dyeing their hair in neon colors and neon and the Memphis style, which if you don't know what that is, you've seen it before. It's the shapes that are all different colored neons
Oh, yeah.
and
Mhm,
graphics.
yeah.
Yeah, that's called the Memphis style of art.
Okay.
So that started to make a resurgence in pop culture as well. And now what's happening is that 90s culture, like Bruno Mars made 24 Karat Magic,
Right.
Finesse is all New Jack Swing. Like that's what it is. So now early 90s culture is starting to come back. So I feel like as a society, if it's past 7 years, you can do what you want with it nostalgically because it's going to be out of style, but you can still be like, nah, I still find this cool. And the kids are going to look at you weird. But
Okay.
about 30, 25, 30 years into its own past, will it have the abundance of marketing nostalgia?
Okay.
To me, if it's about 6, 8, around maybe 6 or 8 years, I mean, I can go way back. I can go way back, but
Sure.
that's just me. And by way back, I mean I can tap into stuff from the 20s. And by the 20s, 1920s, and be able to say I know exactly where that route follows because I studied theater, and theater was the prominent pop culture in the early days of when celebrities were not war heroes or politicians or pilots or you know
Yeah.
those kinds of figureheads, when everything was switching to who's the newest radio personality, who's the new movie star, who's the new comedian, who's the new Broadway like theater star.
Right.
All of that started in the 20s, and that's why in the roaring 20s you had this surgence of great music and theater because people started to listen to swing jazz and syncopated music on their Vitraphones and their record players.
Right.
So all of that is recycled over and over and over. It's just people now on the internet find their own subcultures and they find their forums and they find all of their groups to stay connected to what they love. But to people just
Hello.
Okay.
Give me 1 second, guys. I'm having a little issue here.
That's okay.
Think it might have.
There we go. There we
I
go.
think it might have
Great.
fixed itself.
Okay.
That was weird. It's getting
It's
super.
all good. When you've got everything figured out.
Yeah, I think it's just getting super hot out here. So
Okay.
that's
Is that what it is?
yeah. So like certain times of the day, it gets like so hot where it's just like, Today seemed like a cooler day, so I was like, oh, maybe we can get away with it, you know?
Okay. I don't think I'm coming up on the broadcast end visually.
No, I'll pull you back up.
Okay.
Because he's got to do the stream thing in here and do that,
There you
and
go.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
of like
It's a lot.
messing around here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We
Alright,
should
cool.
be back.
Do you know at one point in the conversation you lost Jeremy?
I lost Jeremy at the point where he was talking about. It's kind of hard to tell, just because like I was looking at this and then I was looking at this too. He was talking about the Roaring Twenties. Was talking about
Okay.
how swing jazz was like a huge thing and how that culminated to like the movement of how audio and media was like changing, and he was bringing up the point of like
Again? Oh, there he is.
and this 7 year gap thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I just wanted to know where I needed to come back in.
Yes.
Okay. So, nowadays people aren't willing to really take the risk with their hard-earned money to try something new when they can find it for free on the black market. So the problem there is that new things and new ideas aren't making any money, and Hollywood is thinking, "Oh, we have to keep recycling because that's all that people understand. That's all people know."
Yes.
And that's not necessarily the case. I am somebody out there who is very objective instead of subjective, because somebody like Gary
Done.
Vee will tell somebody that you should views are just going to keep going up and up and up the more you make and make and make. But for me, I want to make things that are going to stand the test of time when I'm gone. I don't want to make things that people will just flip through, or not even look at all. I want to make something that will last. I want to make something that has production quality, because guess what? Everything is subjective. Everything is.
Yeah.
But we have to make a choice and a decision to look at things objectively in order for us to see its true value. Like, there's this new North something movie coming out, The Northwind or whatever it is, with Nicole Kidman and I don't know. It looks like this like new Nordic kind of story.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody nowadays, unfortunately, is going to look at this and be like, "Oh, they're trying to combat with Thor: Love and Thunder," and that's the wrong idea. That's how Hollywood works. That's how society works, and it's been working out for Disney pretty much so far.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the best thing in the world.
No.
I'm not putting down the MCU at all. I've paid my
Please
money
do.
to watch. You know what I mean?
Please do.
But I've watched the movies, and for the most part, a lot of that. Yes, thank you, The Northman. Thank you.
Ooh, okay.
It does right, but
Oh yeah, I mean the rise of Skywalker was very convoluted. Not only that, but like even
to like nothing. Which you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Well, because
I'm not.
they
Mhm.
unfortunately listened to. Well, look what happened to poor what's her name? The
We're back on.
actress that what?
We're back on.
Okay.
Okay, cool. What who was the actress that she starts with a K?
Who was the character she played in Star Wars?
Can't remember.
Was she the gigantic
No, she had the
stormtrooper?
sister. She had the sister who died in the beginning of Last Jedi.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, the Asian American actress, right?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, see, no, but I'm talking about a different, like, completely thing. But I understand your point. Like,
So
there,
that's what I mean, before you bring it up, the reason I am upset with how they handled everything after The Force Awakens was that they let it get to them.
yeah,
Like not the fans. Hollywood let the fans get to them, and they should have
yep,
just completely ignored all of the toxicity and just went with their gut. You know what I mean? They should have just went with their gut and just kept things moving forward. And the only reason I say that is because then they would have been able to tell the story that they wanted to be told without outside influence and be able to really concentrate on what the core of Star Wars really is. And what it is it's an opera. It's not fan service. It's an opera.
right,
And they didn't adhere to that because
yeah. They didn't,
they
yeah,
listened to the wrong people.
they did listen to the wrong people because now we have a whole series of franchise that suffers for it. It's
Yeah,
just like
big
I
time.
just can't. But on the offhand, there are new series and new things that were actually great. Like if I had one at the top of my head and I lost it because of the whole shuffle and the whole stream thing.
Sorry.
But to your point, like I'm willing to take a risk on something new if it breaks the formula, right? Like Raised by
Right.
Wolves. There it is, Raised by Wolves on
Okay.
HBO. That one
Okay.
was actually a pretty. It still follows the whole dystopia, like whole like planet is screwed, so we had to leave. But it's different factions and it's told in a way where you're like, okay, this is actually really interesting
Mhm.
versus you look at something that you want to take a chance on, like I can't believe I'm saying this, the original Suicide Squad, and then you look at it and you're like, this looks objectively bad, but I'm gonna check it out anyway. I want to be wrong, and then you watch it and you're like, this was just god awful.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
it's just about navigating the thing for me. It's like it's not just navigating like what's an exciting thing that plays on a nostalgia. It's more like what can you do with the resources you've been given.
Mhm.
Sure.
Like
Yeah. Right. She was that because with oh, we're losing. Okay. Okay. So in 1993, MTV did something that would forever change people's perception of human beings in media.
Mm.
They created the real world.
Yes.
And so in 1999, Survivor came out. And then from there, European producers in television said, "Oh, so we don't have to overpay actors. We can hire a couple of writers, create a scenario,
Oh.
make cheap television, and get a shoot ton of
There we go.
money off of a profit based on views."
mhm.
And what happened with that is what's happening now. Celebrities are not seen as playing characters. People are actually thinking that when certain actors are playing certain roles, they are those characters. And that's dangerous because when you put on a play, you're playing pretend. So if you've got a whole generation of people raised on reality television, they're not going to really, if they're not trained in the arts, they're not going to have a very strong capability of distinction between what is real and what is perceived.
Right.
And that's what happened with all of these reality TV shows. And so when somebody is like, "Oh, I'm nostalgic for first season of The Bachelor," and I'm saying to myself, "Yeah, but there's there's minimal nostalgic value when it comes to performance. Yeah, sure. Style, music, the way that dates go, the way that they had like flip phones and sidekicks and stuff. Yeah, sure. I can understand that there are like certain aspects of that kind of television that people can look back on and be like, "Oh my gosh, remember this moment." But I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not storytelling. It's just it's it's overforced gratification."
Mhm.
I mean, look, this is again, I'm on the internet. I'm one opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's not like I haven't done my research on this. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a whole world out there of really great storytelling,
Yeah.
and it's becoming very, very micromanaged because you have so many people who are into so many different little things that Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, all of these streaming services have something different to offer everybody. You're not going to get one big strong thing anymore. I mean, it's even in music. If Adele's 30 couldn't break past a certain $1 million or $1 million selling like record,
Yeah.
the record companies, they now know they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They can't sell a big star like Michael Jackson anymore.
Yeah.
They can't, because it's not going to make them money. So what's going to make them the money? Forcing these artists to go on tour and having people pay for live tickets. And that's where the nostalgia comes in. That's why so many bands are trying to go back out on tours, because that's where their money and their revenue's coming in. And they're banking off the nostalgia of people who want to see them again.
Yeah.
And that's why we can't hardly get anything new that's not likable, but that's just not
Worthwhile.
and forced and uh piggybacked.
Sure.
You know, like
Yeah,
you get a lot of artists who piggyback off of each other, and you see it on you hear it in rap music, and Snoop Dogg even
Yeah.
hinted at it, the whole mumble rap thing with
Mhm.
Migos going and everybody sounds the same.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. All of these young kids who are like 18, 19, who are trying to like not go to college and think that they can make it in multimedia and just share and be a full-time entertainer. They're just going to try and follow trends, and I don't know how far that's going to get them when that bubble bursts.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for them because they're being misled.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like that. It's like that. The J. Cole response to who that mumble rapper was? It not 6ix9ine. It was what's his name? It's the top of my tongue. Hold on.
Okay.
J. Cole was dissed by this like new kid mumble rapper or whatever.
Sure. Okay.
And J. Cole was just like, all you're doing is following trends. If I were you, don't stop touring, because otherwise you're going to lose your bread, or whatever the hell it was, the lyric line specifically.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, no, that's true, because all they do is literally follow trends. Lil Pump. There we go. Lil Pump.
Oh, okay.
Forgot.
Okay.
Lil
Gotcha.
Pump.
So, I guess, well, I'm going to answer the podcast question after I ask this. Is when have we reached the point where nothing can be original anymore?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. It's just a matter, like in my personal opinion, it's just a matter of someone needing to take a risk, because a lot of people will fundamentally piggyback off of an idea that's already been established, or something they felt they could have added their own unique twist, right?
Uh-huh.
Like if you think of all the constant remakes, like Hollywood right now wants moneymakers.
Sure.
They keep doing these nostalgic remakes of movies that have already been done. A lot of the movies that we remember from the 90s are in fact remakes of originals from the 1930s and 1940s.
Yes.
Like movies that I never thought were remakes were actual remakes. So they're going to continue doing it. Like we had a remake to RoboCop.
Yeah.
Like why? We had a remake to Total Recall. Like why? Like, yes, technology is there, but if the writing and things aren't up to par to like even surpass the original, like what's the point? Like we want an original story. Like I think that was my biggest grief with the Uncharted movie that came out.
Okay.
Like it would have been great if it was its own unique story, because they tried so hard to implement a video game onto the big screen while fundamentally gutting the essentials that would make the game series great. And it's like, no, if this would have been its own separate story, this would have been great.
Sure.
Like It's just a matter of taking that risk or taking that gamble. That's why I enjoyed like Game of Thrones up to a certain point, like being formatted from a book format into a TV series. Like it was something that we wanted to see as a visual representation because we enjoyed reading the books because of the way that it's been different from everything that's been outlined before.
So can you give an example of something that's new and original? You know what I mean? Without really having to like dig into it. Like, can you just be like, bam, oh yeah, that was original.
Crazy
Rick and
Rich
Morty.
Asians.
Crazy
Rick
Rich
and Morty for sure.
Crazy Rich Asians. Definitely not Rick and Morty, but Crazy Rich Asians is definitely like one thing for sure. Now, do you think that's original, or do you think that's piggybacking off of a thing that happened already? But now using the Asian
movie
culture as a way to make a movie,
which is what actually I wanted to that's actually the point that I was trying to make.
Okay.
We need to stop like doing the Greek mythology. We have to do African mythology. We have to stop doing Norse mythology. We have to start doing Asian mythology. Like real nitty-gritty, like we have to like bring those kinds of creatures into the conversation.
Yeah.
Japanese yokai. We have to bring those into the American consciousness. We have to start to finally say that we're done with the mythologies that were taught to us in grammar school from 1940 to 2008. Like we just have to stop. We have to stop. It's become overexpended. I want to hear more from stories that Moliere wrote than Shakespeare.
Definitely.
I want to hear more stories from famous African authors. I'll tell you why Black Panther did really well. Black Panther did really well because the whole premise of Wakanda was presented to the audience within the first 10 minutes. Wakanda stayed completely separate from all European conqueror influence.
Yeah.
And so you have a society created based solely around African mythology and history, and it was new, it was fresh, and it felt fresh. And so for someone to be outside of Wakanda, Michael B. Jordan's character, and see how terrible over time people have been treated,
Okay.
of course he's going to be angry. But then you're looking at how things could have been.
Sure.
Those are the kinds of stories I want to see.
So
I want to see those kinds of stories that haven't been influenced by, you know what I mean? Like, that is exciting to me.
How did you feel about not to say it's exactly the same thing, but how did you feel about the original Coming to America, where it showed like what we thought was this desert, what this desert or this Sahara, we were taught to think that is this desolate place actually has this gigantic beautiful kingdom with like green trees and they eat the finest of meats and fruits and stuff like that, and then they put that into what was modern day New York, and then you see the differences between the cultures there, where it's like the Princess Zamunda, Eddie Murphy comes in and he's like, yo, what's going on over here? And Arsenio Hall is like appalled by the type of things that are happening right now. Right.
Well played, by the way.
Right. I'm just saying, like, where he's just like, this would never happen in Zamunda. You know what I mean? Like, this would never happen there. Like, what is going on? You know?
I mean, I don't know if Ramagali has anything to add.
I actually would retract my Rick and Morty answer for Parasite. I actually remember Parasite being
that's great. I would totally get down with that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I remember Parasite like leaving a fundamental like, yo, this is good.
The problem with that is that I'm always
it's kind of been done.
No, yes, but the problem that I'm going to say with that is, when does it stop like being this thing where it's like, I was like, name something original. I'm like, sure, that's original to us, But how many times has that story been told overseas?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Right. Well, good artists create, great artists steal,
Yeah.
and in all of art, it's the singer, not the song.
Definitely.
So
Okay.
looking at it from that perspective, I mean, well, let me go back to Coming to America. We have to remember that audiences were not as precocious as they are today when that movie came out. The only things that we had presented to us in pop culture was whatever was in books, whatever was shown to us on television, whatever was shown to us in the movie theater, and whatever songs and talk shows we heard on the radio. The only way that we were able to become more precocious was if we delved more into reading.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but our schools didn't teach us to do that necessarily. They just kind of gave us this textbook thing of this is how history was, and nowadays we all know that's not how it was.
Definitely.
And so when you don't hear from certain scholars back in the 80s and 90s when they were in their prime and doing their research in their 40s, and all of a sudden you hear them now in their 70s and they're in their 80s in their years of age talking about stuff that they discovered 40 years ago, they're like, why wasn't this presented to us in school back then? Because it was controlled.
Yeah.
So Coming to America, when you get that kingdom and you get the first glimpse of it, your mind thinks it's a fantasy because perception is reality.
Definitely.
And how everything was perceived by us here in America, which of course Hollywood and Broadway are the two grand de facto businesses of entertainment to spread to the rest of the world, shouldn't be anymore. But I digress. When it was, we are only presented with what we had visually given to us. We didn't know.
Right.
So now looking at Coming to America, we believe that of course we do. Of course we do. Of course there's a beautiful golden kingdom where people will hunt for somebody who is so righteous and so benevolent. You know what I mean? Like there are people who exist like that and have that kind of power.
Yeah.
But they're revered because they are for the people.
Yeah.
But we thought it was a fantasy. We thought, no, it couldn't possibly be that good. It couldn't possibly be like that.
Right.
Because my textbook said differently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where's the nostalgia in that? You know what I mean? Like Coming to America, the nostalgia there is all the one-liners.
Oh, heck
you know what I mean? And just Eddie Murphy's great performance, by the way.
Oh
yeah.
The whole cast is great.
No doubt.
But I mean, aside from the nostalgia of it, if we're looking at it from a non-nostalgic perspective, which I don't want to go too off topic, but I mean, you know, we look at this movie fondly now because we know better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've grown up, but we've grown up in the age of the internet where information is at our fingertips. Like when my wife asks me, hey, I don't know about this, immediately in my head, I would like to say Google it, but I say to her, I don't know, honey, you know, I hear it was XYZ, and I'm driving, so I can't look it up on the internet.
Right, of course.
And she won't look it up on the internet until we get home. Because she wants to try to use the power of her memory while it lasts to see if she can come up with the answer on her
The more
own.
she does that, the longer it's going to last. So that's statistically proven. So
right, and that's why our nostalgia is becoming nostalgia, and it's becoming this oversaturated marketplace of garble mesh that I hate running the risk of saying, guess what, retro gamers, you and I are burned out. Period.
Yeah.
And I will stick to that argument.
Yeah.
Am I burned out as a retro gamer? Absolutely, because guess what? Time can only stand still for so long.
Yeah.
And as I, being a person of nostalgia, I'm looking at it from a very philosophical place. I'm looking at it and I'm challenging the notions of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm challenging what is it really that we are trying to remember?
Right.
And it's a feeling. It's not a niche.
So-
Nostalgia is not a niche.
Let me-
It's a feeling.
Let me cut you off there for just a
Yeah,
second,
yeah.
because it kind of jumps into what I wanted to talk about, as far as like it was definitely not as intricate as the way you described it with like research, and
I go
like,
off on these tangents.
I'm like,
sorry.
I'm sorry, Dr. Nostalgia. You know what I mean? But no,
there's a lot of good points to hit on there
No,
too.
no, definitely.
There really is.
But speaking about that in general, like, to answer the podcast question is, when do things become nostalgic and not just things that we know are normal? I feel like for me, it's much more simple. It's much more simple. It's back when somebody will tell me something, or it's when I'll like listen to somebody who's my age or just like slightly older, and they're like, "Hey, do you remember that?" And I go, "Oh yeah, I do remember that." You know what I mean? And then you start going down these like film reels in your brain. You know what I mean? That's the feeling. You know what I mean? When you saw that, when you even hear the film reel, you hear the, you know, and it's just like, oh my god, this is oh man, you remember the smells, you can remember the taste of things from back then. It's an insane thing to think about, like, because of the way that things are enmeshed now, the way that things are like, they're faux classic now, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be the way I would answer the question, where it's like, it just, when I can go back and just be like, oh yeah, I do. And then you start like, oh yeah. And then it causes this domino effect of like, oh dude, I do remember the Jungle Book, but you know, I also remember Goofy Movie, or, oh dude, do you remember being on the theater when The Lion King came out? Or, you know, do you remember when Rush Hour 1 came out, and then you could go to the Chinese theater in Hollywood and watch that, and it was this gigantic premiere? You know what I mean? And then you think about, oh man, you know, remember when Jackie Chan was like just coming in? You know, you started doing like things like Rumble in the Bronx and stuff. You know what I mean? Or like even before then. And then that's, I feel like that's when things become nostalgia, when you can start tying a whole bunch of things together just because somebody said one thing, and then you have this gigantic conversation with people, and you're just like, wow, oh yeah, you know, it really hits you right there, and it brings you back into being that age when you first heard it. That's what being like nostalgia is for me.
For me, if it's not at the forefront of my brain, that's nostalgia. Like, to give you the biggest example, when's the last time you ever thought about Pogs?
2 days ago. That's 3 days ago. I'm sorry.
Yesterday when I looked up on my shelf.
Yeah. I realized the demographic that I'm speaking to, so that
yeah.
kind of failed on launch.
Yeah.
But like, but what I mean is like dial-up internet, or like the Dewey Decimal System, or like, when's the last time you actually thought about like an abacus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an abacus.
Yeah, when was the last time you thought about like the 70-hour AOL friggin' CDs that you would get at like the post office, or they would mail them to you?
And then get free trial offers for 3 months, and then you had to redo it again, so you ended up with an abundance of friggin' AOL accounts.
Yeah, I remember having the, like, you remember the old little like disc holder that you normally you get like a Memorex one, and it looked like a little T, and then you would put like a bunch of CDs in it. I had like a thing that was full of AOL, like 70-hour or 3 months. That's how I played like Dark Age of Camelot, and when like World of Warcraft just came out, or like RuneScape and stuff like that. I would do it on free time, baby. You know. That's how I would play.
But that's what I mean. Like, when you don't have certain things at the forefront of your brain that you haven't had the need for in years.
Yeah.
That's nostalgia. Yeah. Versus like the PlayStation 3, it's like, oh yeah, that was a little bit ago, but I still remember it. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, I wanted to ask too. I feel like we're in a space. I'm gonna let you finish though, Jimmy. So I'll let you finish, and then I'll ask what I was gonna ask.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, in its simplest form, yeah, absolutely, it becomes object. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there are senses like smell that will bring you back to, you know, holidays and being in certain homes and being around certain people. Like, that's nostalgia. You know, when you are solely personifying it, you know, because those are things that are important to you, the individual.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to look at it past like pop culture. You know what I mean? Like I'll tell you something else. Like I'm looking at it generationally because I don't like to gatekeep. I like to hear what Gen Z is nostalgic for. Like I didn't know what Club Penguin was. And so
Oh
I
man.
had someone right. So I had someone from Gen Z explain it to me, and I found it interesting because of the way that they were so passionate and how they spoke about it and how they connected with their friends. And like that's why I don't dismiss things that came out when I was in college and they were merely children. I don't dismiss it because I actually love Avatar: The Last Airbender as an adult. I was 20 when that came out, and I love it. I think it's a great television show, very well written for kids, and that's why I didn't dismiss it. You know what I mean? Like I have to see past the generational gap. However,
Definitely.
I got a lot of heat for a TikTok that I made because I think people missed. I think that they lost the plot.
Okay.
I stitched a question that I think my buddy Wrecked Wizard said, and said, "At what point do you consider a game console retro?"
Oh my god.
And I stitched it with them, and I said, "This is my Wii U. To Generation Alpha, this is already retro."
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people came down on me for it, and I'm like, I think you
so
missed
full of it.
what generation I was talking about.
Yeah.
Because Gen Alpha is going to look at the Wii U and be like, wow, that's pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are. And I think they missed the boat on that. But I mean, I'm telling it from a perspective of this. And I'll tell you what. When I run into somebody who is 10 now, 10, and they look at the Wii U, they're like, oh, I remember playing that when I was 5 or 6, but I don't really have a good memory of it. You know, I kind of remember playing the Wii 5. And this is a 10-year-old kid born in 2012, right?
Oh, that hurts me.
So now look at us, okay? Where I am 36, born in 85. I will look at the Atari 7800 or the Magnavox Odyssey 2, which came out merely 2 or 3 years before I was born. And I'll look at that and say, yeah, that's pretty retro to me.
Yeah.
Whereas the NES came out the year I was born, but I feel a very strong nostalgic affinity for it. You know, like maybe the Wii U could do that for them. Maybe they'll be nostalgic for the Wii U.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's already considered retro.
Sure.
It is, you know, like it's just
so
it is to the point. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, finish.
To the point where we have to think about what year we were born and when things came out physically, that we are able to mindfully associate when we were forced to stop caring about the things that we cared for absolute and then had to worry individually and independently about crossing the street, getting to school safely, brushing your teeth without being told, eating when you're like when nobody else was home and figuring that out. You know what I mean? Like, it's at that point that you're like, oh, I can't really just have no care anymore. Like, where is that? You know, and that to me is the boundaries that you set for certain nostalgias. I remember, I know I have adult nostalgia.
Definitely.
I have adult nostalgia. I fondly look back going to a school, right? Like a school building. And the smell of the school building, this is a brand new building I had never been in before. And it had this beautiful mural of all the graduating classes going back from the 60s. And they had a square every year to be able to paint something that represented their year of graduating. It could be something in pop culture, could have been something that happened in a world event. But the smell of the building reminded me of being in first grade in my school building.
Mhm.
I'm in a brand new building, and I'm looking at this mural as an adult, and I'm seeing 1990 had Bart Simpson hanging from the zero saying, "We're out of here, man."
Yeah.
I see something from 2001 where they had the towers. I see something from 99 that had the words Y2K on it.
Right.
I see a mural from 1978 or something, and one of them painted a pet rock. And it's all of that courses through your brain saying, "Wow, my smell receptors are telling me that I understand being 6 years old and feeling nostalgic for being in the first grade and not having a care in the world. And yet I'm in a new building looking at all of these different pathways of time,
Yeah.
some of which I hadn't been alive for,
Mhm.
but yet I'm feeling it. It's just, it's a reaffirmation of our time is precious.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's so
100% agree
precious.
with that.
And you give the gift of time to your children, and
Mhm.
you give the gift of time to people so that you can just revel in the what's the word I'm looking for? In the I don't have the word for it at the moment, but it's there,
Yeah.
and you can't deny it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's in
It's
itself.
potent. That's what it
There
is.
you
It's
go.
potent. Yes.
Okay. And Wrecked Wizard was very like good to it's very good to describe the way he did, because I was gonna, before you even mentioned it, I was gonna pull out my GameCube and I was gonna say, when did this become retro? When did this become like, this is the past? I feel it in the same way that the Super Nintendo and all that stuff became retro. It's when we began to have a real shelf life. That's when I started considering things retro. That's why the Wii is retro, the Wii U, stuff like that. In their own way, they're retro, 'Cause it
Yeah.
has a legitimate shelf life. Now these days, you could just put stuff on the cloud. You know what I mean? Even if your computer or things or your phone becomes obsolete, it's on the cloud. It still exists. As long as those servers exist, every part of your new life is there. And that's why retro gaming as a collector has become such a kind of a mess, where we're sitting at, like, would love to have my collection, or and a new like built collection, but I don't have that kind of money. It's not attainable anymore. You know what I mean? To the normal everyday me and you. Exactly. Um that's when I feel things got retro. Like when I was a kid and Transformers toys were phasing out, so those things were like hundreds to 200 to 300s, almost thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Now it's
Yeah.
like all right, those toys that were worth thousands of dollars then, now they're like $50 at the bin. But now video games are having this resurgence, like the dang friggin' Mario copy that sold for $1 million.
Right. You and I
Jesus
actually had this
Christ.
conversation.
Yeah.
We did have this conversation.
I like to think of it like the way that you said, like the things that have a shelf life, like, right? Like, think about it this way: like, look what happened to KB Toys and look what happened to Toys R Us. Like,
Yeah.
they were really big on. Well, no, I don't know about KB Toys specifically, but I know Toys R Us was really big on selling video games and stuff. And then even then, when trying to stay relevant, still fell under.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I hate to say it this way, I really do. And it's probably going to come back and bite me.
Ooh.
But I feel like the fall of retro gaming falls strictly on gamers as a whole. It's our fault.
Oh yeah.
It's our
I
fault.
agree.
100%.
No, I agree.
It is.
100% agree.
Absolutely agree.
Okay, cool. I thought I had a hot take there, but no, it's 100% on us. It's our fault. That's why it's the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, society as a whole, we're responsible for the reason why certain things get phased out so fast.
Yeah, we'll get to that later, but right now, but no, yeah, you're right though. You're definitely right. I know that took forever, and that was like one question, but it was like it was a super good question. And that came to us from Lemon Cult Games. That I'm sure I'll put this whole thing together, and I'll be like, "Hey, yo, we answered your question."
Like, why is this answer 45 minutes?
Why is this answer movie? Yeah, why is this answer the same as a Netflix special? You know, like, geez.
Enjoy this 5'4", 36-year-old balding man in a Sonic shirt talk to you.
There you go. Enjoy.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Oh man,
I actually thought that I segued pretty well into this tier list that we do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. Well played. Well played. Well played.
Very good.
See what I did there?
I like that.
Everyone gets that one. Everyone gets that one. And you nailed it perfectly.
Right before, you know what? I'm gonna mention it when it comes to the tier list. I'm gonna mention it right down the middle, right when we get to that point. So we're gonna do a video game console tier list. Just us three. If you guys would like to join, please do. You can tell us how wrong we are, because we're not. We're not, but you could tell us how wrong we are.
But you know what, though? I feel like the three of us have good taste. Like, you know,
Sure.
they're just people who don't have good taste, or they're just trying to be a jerk. You know what I mean? Like,
so
well, to be fair, I'll be fair. That's me a lot of the time.
I was just gonna say I'm the resident person that kind of doesn't have a good taste, because I'm usually challenged by the entirety of this entire podcast from time to time. Just an FYI.
People literally come into the chat to tell him how wrong he is.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe it. It's like, oh my oh god.
All right, let's then gird your loins. Let's go.
All right, we're going to the other screen, guys. It's so fast.
All right.
I feel like there should be a transition.
Well, I mean, it's almost as if your graphics card update might have had something to do with it.
Maybe. Okay, here we go. We got the tier list. It's going to be real easy. It's S tier, A, B, C, and D. If we have to create a new tier for the way that things are, well, you know,
here's my question. Wait, it's a good question.
No,
okay.
Are the three of us only allowed one S tier?
No,
we can collect.
There's two S tiers here. There's a lot of consoles here.
We can collectively argue a case for an S tier console or why it should be removed. So it's not like it's a permanent thing. But, if you can validly prove your case and persuade the rest of us, we can make that transition from whatever tier it is.
I will take.
And honestly, I think that because there are only three of us here, there should only be 3 S tier consoles on this tier list.
Okay. Sure.
Well, we each get one golden ticket then. And it's that's unfair.
My golden ticket.
That's unfair because me and Jeremy are probably gonna use our golden. He's gonna use the golden ticket, and I'll be like, "Well, damn," because that's mine.
What I wanted.
I have a backup.
I don't.
I guarantee.
I do.
I have two. I have 2 solid picks. So in the weirdest 1 in a million chance that the both of you take my ticket, I'm screwed.
Okay. We won't. I guarantee you we won't.
All right, we'll see.
I have a feeling we should all say our S tier at the same time and then just go from there.
Okay, ready?
All right.
3,
1, 2, 3.
Super Nintendo.
Oh shit.
That's why I was like, this isn't gonna work because we have the same one.
All right. Oh, wait. Put it up there. Just put it in.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna put PlayStation 1 up there because that's the first.
No, I said PlayStation 2.
You said PlayStation 2. Oh, you're what is your life even?
Okay, wait, Ramagali.
Yes.
I actually want to challenge your S tier.
Go for it.
Okay. So, PlayStation 2.
Yes.
From a sales and marketing perspective of it being the greatest selling console of all time, is because it was, at the time of its release, one of the cheapest DVD players on the market.
That's true.
I wasn't basing it on that. I wasn't even basing it on metrics.
No, no, I'm just saying, like, to begin my point. We have to look at the console for specifically what it had to offer as a gaming console.
Yeah, you know what it had to, to offer?
All consoles.
It had to offer the Bouncer as a launch title. Talk about a stinker. You know?
For me, it was Jack and Daxter. Like I managed to get it with Jack and Daxter.
Oh, you lucky bastard.
Yeah,
So
because to be fair,
yeah,
to be fair, I got my Super Nintendo with, and I'll show you the game. 1 second.
I can't wait.
I got my Super Nintendo in the 1990s from Toys R Us with this game, this Jack Nicklaus Golf.
Yeah!
Jack Nicklaus Golf, really?
Yes, it came with that fucking console. So much that my dad literally looked at the bundle and was like, I don't think this game is gonna look any fun. And he bought me Super Mario World that day.
First of all, he was right. So
he was correct.
Yeah.
He was
So
correct.
yeah, so I kid you
Wait.
not, I booted Nick
There
Nicklaus
was
Golf
nothing
twice.
super about that game.
I booted it twice, never touched it again to this day.
Okay, but the point here is the PlayStation 2 that was being challenged.
Right.
What is the rebuttal?
Cheapest DVD player. Honestly, it is the biggest game library that I always had like the biggest like attachment to, and it helped me play PlayStation 1 games as well. So like it was a culmination of like I wanted to play the previous gen, current gen, and it offered me an abundance of storytelling and graphically good games compared to what I was used to. Like there was never a moment where I religiously played my consoles outside of Nintendo that was Sony. It was like the first memorable console where I was like, yo, this is gaming for me. This is it.
Okay, so with that in mind, what makes the PlayStation 2 better than the PlayStation 3 and its complete backwards compatibility?
PlayStation 3 was finding its footing. It had a lot of hardware failures and was trying to play on the...
But it's just a PlayStation 2. It's literally a PlayStation 2 without needing a memory card.
The PlayStation 3 had to go through... Hold on. The PlayStation 3 had to go through several iterations to get their design right. They lost their backwards compatibility.
But the first one had everything. It had backwards compatibility. It had a gigantic memory
card. With a high failure rate.
Sure. I'll give you that.
And the price tag.
What was it, like $600?
Yes, for the backwards compatible model, it was almost $700.
Oof. How backwards are we talking?
PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1.
Every PlayStation game ever.
Okay.
And the PlayStation 2 compatibility wasn't flawless because I remember playing my Grandia 2 disc and it was messing with the graphics. Like a lot of the friggin' games didn't have true backwards compatibility.
Okay, but it wasn't region locked. I know that.
Yeah, it wasn't region locked.
So
but yes, for it to come out as a launch console with these features and it wasn't polished, and then they later revised them so they lose the compatibility, just wasn't it. Okay. Like it was that redheaded stepchild that was like, yeah, we promised these things, we didn't get it right, so now we're gonna revise it, and now you can't do it.
Okay, I'll give you that. All right, so PlayStation 2, what do you think, Jeremy? You gonna let it pass? Okay. That's his golden ticket.
That is my golden ticket.
Okay.
If not, I have an alternative. If not, I do have an alternative.
Here's where I can give it the golden ticket. I mean, Sony was really riding that console for over a decade. They didn't stop production on that console and its games until well into 2012. Mm-hmm. And that really like outshines any 6-year span of a console's life up to this point. I
disagree.
The only other console I could think of that would do that is the original Nintendo.
No, the original Game Boy.
Over a decade.
Yeah, that was my second one. That was my second ticket.
The original Game Boy had
89 to 2000. 89 to 2001.
Yeah.
Little bit before that because the GBC came out.
But it was they still had
89 was when Game Boy Color came out. I mean, 89 was when the
original
Game Boy came out.
But it still allowed Game Boy consoles to play GBC games until it didn't.
Right.
Okay. No, you're right.
2001 when the Game Boy Advance came out.
So it's like Game Boy. While we're talking about Game Boy, it's one of the only consoles that could survive a nuclear, or not a nuclear, but like a bomb blast and still work.
I've seen
second in durability to a Nokia phone.
I have the issue of Nintendo Power that had it, and I went to the Nintendo World Store, the Nintendo New York store, to see it physically in person. And Game Boy, put it in A. Put it in A.
Put it in
put
A?
The PlayStation, and put the PlayStation 2 in S.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
The first argument I've ever won on this podcast. This first argument I've ever won.
Yeah,
I wanted to challenge you to see, like, you know.
Yeah,
that's fair.
no, I knew Chizo was gonna say something about the PS3, and I was like, no, I remember that era. It was awful.
I kind of owned the PS3, so it's like
I had the PS3 Slim.
the
Okay.
fat boy, you know.
No, I had the thin boy. I got it when Modern Warfare 2 came
Okay,
out.
so just because me and Jeremy have the same gold ticket console, I'm gonna do a thing. We love our resident duck, so I'm gonna throw his I'm gonna throw my golden ticket over to him, and he would pick the Nintendo 64. So we're
Oh,
gonna
okay,
throw the
that's
Nintendo
solid.
64 up there, right there.
In S tier,
Yeah,
I mean,
I would challenge that.
you could challenge it any day.
Okay, I'm challenging the N64, and there's a couple of reasons why.
Sure.
So the N64 did a lot of things really well.
Yep.
It did analog extremely well. It did polygon graphics much better than the PlayStation did in terms of anti-aliasing and just based on look alone. But the problem with the N64, not just the lack of library, but the fact that Nintendo could have decided to keep partnerships instead of blowing them off completely.
Sure.
well,
They could have altered a lot of ways that other games could have been done, which is what they did with the Wii, mind you.
Sure.
They could have altered certain ways of things being done, like instead of saying to Square, we're not going to associate with you anymore because you're associating with an enemy at the time, Sony. No. They could have said, okay, well, is there a way that you can bring some kind of a pseudo 2D or 2.5D Final Fantasy game and make it exclusive for the N64 so we could start to sell some like RPGs or something? Same thing with Konami. Oh yeah, well, if we can't fit Metal Gear Solid on here, maybe there's another franchise that we can take.
Are we talking about Siphon Filter? Is that where we're going with this?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But the N64 suffered from being analog players in a new digital world. And I think that the N64, I love my N64, but I don't really want to play a lot of games from it.
Okay.
I just don't.
Okay.
I mean, people can argue Smash, people can argue Mario Kart 64,
Sure.
people can argue their first party games all they want.
Yeah.
Sure, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Banjo-Kazooie, I know all the ones you're going to throw at me.
well,
I know
Trilogy's
them
also
all.
PlayStation.
Actually,
Trilogy's
yeah,
also
I
PlayStation.
understand, but I'm just
Actually,
saying, like,
you
I
probably
know all the
don't.
ones you're going to throw at me. Gauntlet Dark Legacy, come on, just give it to me.
It's
But
not Dark Legacy. It's Legends. Dark Legacy was on the PlayStation 2.
okay, so
Haha.
Because I have
N64
Gauntlet Legends in right here.
No, Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
I know, that's why, because the Dark Legacy was the PlayStation
okay,
2
I
one.
see. All right, I understand. I gotta tell you, the N64 to me is at least at the most an A, never S, but for me it would be a B.
Sure. I won't
me.
give you that, but it is your opinion. But I will tell you, I feel like what I'm hearing is that what you're saying is you're throwing out the fact that something was innovative, but not innovative to your liking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can see that.
Okay, I can see your point.
you see what I'm saying? You're talking about
Yeah.
you're talking about a company that brings innovation first before anything else. You're talking about a company that right after the N64 brought out the GameCube, which if I had a choice, if Super Nintendo didn't exist, would be my golden ticket. I think GameCube is one of the best consoles ever made. Easy. Did it do poorly?
I was gonna say that
yes.
GameCube is definitely an A system.
Yeah.
That's why I said the N64 is like a B.
That's fair. But this is what I'm saying. The point of it is the innovation here. We're talking about the point of, like,
because at the time,
and Zelda Ocarina of Time with Z targeting and hey, show me your butt so I can hit you. They use patience as a difficulty. Sure.
Think about
like,
this.
Super Mario 64
Yeah.
revolutionized 3D gaming, period.
Super Mario 64 is probably the reason why PlayStation decided to start having analog sticks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're
Yeah.
totally on the ball with that. Absolutely.
So to discredit innovation because you feel like a system is played out, like you're not going to go back and play those games, is totally discrediting the fact of what it was and what it continues to be. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
understand.
You're talking. Mhm.
So to that point, I would put it at an A, but I consider it a B. But if it goes to A, then it's for all the right reasons.
Sure. Like I said, it still goes to S for me for other things that you might not have explained. Things like say
four player actual multiplayer.
4-player asynchronous multiplayer, like 4-player like synchronous multiplayer. In addition to being able to utilize it in a way that other consoles were not utilizing things, i.e., the transfer pack, which became the link cable of the GameCube, the transfer cable for the GameCube.
Right. I mean, we all just showed our transfer packs, like just we have
exactly
right next to us.
So we're
absolutely.
talking about things that designed the future. Like you think about the Nintendo 64 at that time. You know, that was the era of when the Dreamcast was coming up, and then you had the VMUs. You literally had like a memory card that was like something you could take somewhere else. But what I'm saying is like
and progress. Yeah.
And it's like you could say anything about Mario Kart or first party games, but there's plenty of like great third party games for the N64.
GoldenEye is the biggest one that could use that 4-player multiplayer.
That's besides the point. But you got things.
Right. Here's the other thing too, though, is that someone could come along and say, "Oh, PlayStation 1 is S tier," and I'm like, "Well, you can't just say S tier because it's based off of your personal nostalgia.
Sure,
that's not the argument.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
The argument here is like, what are we looking for that puts it in that tier? That's what we're looking at here. So
it's the same.
I don't want to hear someone say you rattled off all these games and then it doesn't mean anything. Well, I'm like, well, it does, but there are other aspects that I'm looking at it from, and not just because you feel fondly about Ocarina of Time.
That's why
Ocarina of Time masked its difficulty with you being patient.
Yeah.
And so Z targeting, excellent innovation. I'm not discounting it, but the whole feel behind the N64 and change the system, totally on board. Sure. But S,
yeah,
I don't know if it's S.
So that's the thing. So
that's what I'm trying to figure out too. You know what I mean?
So that's why when you made the argument of like, yeah, check out the video games and why they're like, I wouldn't go back. I didn't even come up front with video games. I literally came up with like what the console was. You know what I mean? I came out with why it is different than any other console, not only at that time, but even to this day. It's the same thing as the innovation from a Nintendo, or like the upgrade from a Nintendo to a Super Nintendo. The library on a Super Nintendo is fantastic. Sure, it is. But it's also a damn Super Nintendo, and it had all kinds of upgrades, not only within its own software, but within the technology that built new games like Chrono Trigger and friggin' even things like Super Turbo and stuff like that, you know? We're talking about like a system that preceded arcade times, but it was still in the middle of it. That's why you got games like Midway's NFL Blitz, or you got games like Dark Legends or Dark Legacy, or Legends, regular Legends for freaking Gauntlet and stuff like that. You know what I mean? This is this is a console that was built with what I talked to you before in mind. It was built with this this couch experience, this multiplayer experience, as well as a single player experience. I feel like it had a good mix of both of those things, and you could go back, even if you don't play F-Zero, or even if you don't play Star Fox 64, there is still like a plethora of things you can play on that. You can play Mario Party. Some way or wager to say that the best Mario parties are on 64. And you know what?
Arguably, yes.
Oh yeah, Mario Party 2.
So much
Absolutely.
so that
Yeah.
they brought back those games in a
Yeah.
in a
In
mishmash.
Superstars form. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like you talk about people who are like Perfect Dark Zero came out for the 360, and people were like, "This game is not as good as Perfect Dark Original." And we're talking about a game where people complained about the controls because of the way the 64 controller was designed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Boy, let me tell you, people will never understand the fury of having to do tug of war on Mario Party with the N64 joystick. No one will ever know that pain.
But while we're talking about nostalgia and while we're talking about retro, I feel like this is a very perfect in between for everybody. People who are younger, people who are older. When this came out, this is the 64 era was huge, man, and the 64 console was even bigger. And you know, you got upgrades for this too. Just like what was it, mode 6, right? For Super Nintendo? For the
Super Nintendo was mode 7.
Mode 7, I'm sorry. Mode 7.
Yeah.
The upgrade for this was the RAM card that you could put in and you could start playing games like Donkey Kong 64. You know what I mean?
The expansion pack.
Yeah. So it's like these things continue to develop even after they first launched. And that's why I think the 64 is a great console. You know what I mean? It did something that, what did the PlayStation do? The PlayStation added 2 analog sticks to the controller. You want to go back and go to PlayStation when it was a launch console? That thing was a piece of shit.
Hell no.
Like I still have the controller. I have the controller like right there. I could probably most likely bring it out. The controller feels like you got it at the swap meet. It feels like garbage.
Like those emulator consoles that have like 99 games in one.
Exactly. It feels like that. But
okay, well, I think you have talked me into what I think I was missing out on in my original argument, where multiplayer definitely does play a big factor in how the console was perceived by people, especially in college dorm rooms and stuff. You know what I mean? So, okay, if you want to leave it an S,
leave it an S.
We can leave it an S.
It is decided.
Leave it an S.
Yes, it is decided. We can leave it an S.
I'm gonna throw it too. I'm gonna just say it. There has not been a Nintendo console since then, like home console since then.
Home console
that has not had 4 players. That has not had 4 ports.
It's true.
Ports.
GameCube.
4 ports.
What are you fucking talking about?
GameCube had 4 slots.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry.
He's saying from that point, everything
every
or more.
Every had 4, and the ones that didn't had at least 4-player online multiplayer like games.
Right.
But when did that stop? When did that stop? Like, at the Wii U?
The Wii U? Yeah, the Wii U.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they were like, "Oh, here's this little thing you could put, so you could put like 4 controllers in there." You know what I mean? That thought process never ended. Even with the Switch, you go to the Switch screen to like put your controllers on. There's 4 slots.
Yeah.
That continued to be a thing forever. Yeah, that's 4. There you go.
Because they want people to play together.
And to like discredit that because you have like this thought process that the library wasn't good enough. That's not a good enough reason. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. No way.
Well, you talked me into S tier, so
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. I'm not the kind of person to like not listen to the other side. Like I'm not that stubborn. So if you can bring up like points that I may have missed or please just go for it because I'm willing to listen and process.
Yeah. I mean, like,
so,
I'm not that stubborn.
So in that spirit, can we move the PlayStation 1 to B tier?
Yes. Yes.
I think B is a good spot for PlayStation 1.
I missed you know what my absolute favorite thing about the PlayStation 1 is? If you can guess, I'll throw you a gifted sub.
VMUs.
Nope. That's not PlayStation 1. That's not PlayStation 1.
Oh wait, no.
Was that it was a CD player?
That's what I mean. FMVs. That's what I meant.
That's wrong. What is yours, Ram?
CD player?
No, the intro. The intro to the PlayStation.
The intro sound.
Yeah.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. That is absolutely my favorite thing about the PlayStation.
Damn.
But PlayStation.
I mean, if you had a banging sound system in the 90s for your television, whoa, yes, I agree.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay then. So
I
now
know a lot of people are going to disagree with this B, but consoles, while we talk about some other stuff, may or may not jump up or down. May or may not. So we'll leave the B as a good middle. We'll leave the PlayStation at a good middle point. Yeah.
Can we
also
can we
there-
put the N gauge down in D, please?
please.
Was this one?
Also
Is this one the N gauge? This is the
Yeah.
Nokia one,
That
right?
one.
Yeah.
put
Okay, that's
it
a-
in D,
We'll,
please.
we'll go into reasons why in a second, but there are two N64s. If you look on the bottom right corner, there's another
one that says the
N64.
the disc drive. The other one has the disc drive.
That was the prototype. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting both.
Yeah, no, not the prototype. It's the disc
It's the
drive.
disc drive. Yeah.
It's
Oh.
the N64 DD, which was released only in Japan.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Only.
So we'll do
in
the
Japan.
only in Japan.
Oh.
Okay.
The N gauge was an interesting concept. I just hated it in execution.
The N gauge became an interesting product when it became the Sony Ericsson. Like, you know what I mean?
Exclusively for singular wireless.
That's right.
Oh my god.
So that's
Which-
when the N gauge was like, oh shit. And then when it like also became the T-Mobile the Sidekick. When the build
Yes.
for that became the Sidekick. Oh my god.
Yes. Can we
dear
put the
Lord.
Neo Geo Pocket in C tier, please?
Oh my god. I'm having the hardest time finding the Geo Pocket.
I think I see it. I see it.
I wanted to
It's,
go in order, so I didn't have to go.
Okay,
through
okay,
it.
all right. Let's do it in order then.
Sorry. Okay, we can do.
I think okay. We're moving to the Switch.
Okay, Switch.
Okay.
Hey.
Here's my thing, and I'm gonna make the case.
Your case is you're so full of shit with the case.
No.
you're gonna
No.
make.
The Switch does nothing for me.
You also don't like Breath of the Wild, so it's like, why the fuck? Like, how?
No. I'm not talking game library. I'm strictly talking console. Like, if you think about the features that we talked about with the 3DS, if we talk about features that have been implemented since, Game Boys have been introduced, this thing feels lackluster to me. Like, it just feels like a just base. If to me, it is a console on the go, but it feels more like it's meant to be a home console, if that makes any sense. But like, it does nothing for me in the sense I want to take this with me. Like, it does nothing for me to be like, I'm going to play my Switch today. Versus like my Game Boy Advance or my SP or my 3DS. It's like, no, I'm going to take this out today. I'm going to play this on the go. I'm going to play this in a waiting room. I'm going to do this and kill some time.
Yeah, but
I never felt that with the
see,
Switch.
the problem here.
Well, let me ask you. Here's my question to counter your question. What kind of transportation do you use to get to work?
Okay. So I drive, right?
So I will stop you there. I grew up in Queens and I had to take
Public
the subway
transport.
and public transportation everywhere. I think it depends on where you geographically live and what your means of transportation are, that the Switch is a viable gaming console for you or not.
Okay, so here's my counter to that. I have been driving since 2008, which means right during the height of the Game Boy SP and the 3DS and all that. I still played my 3DS way more than I do my Switch. Because my 3DS, I used to play it in the break rooms at work. I used to play it at school in between class times. I used to play it in doctors' waiting rooms. Like, I would just have it in my pocket, not even in my backpack.
Okay.
I can still wait in waiting rooms for hours on end. I still have a break room when I go to work.
So-
I don't take my Switch.
So this is where Jeremy's point comes to light. Now it becomes a point for you specifically. Now it becomes a point of game library. Because I know we've talked about this before, where you're like, the Nintendo Switch game library just doesn't do it for me. I was talking about Mario Odyssey, and you're like, whatever, Mario Odyssey.
I played Odyssey. I finished Odyssey.
Yeah, but even after you finished Odyssey, you were like, you know what I mean? See
Yeah.
what I mean? So this comes down to not like the console itself. It's like if this console had DS video games, you know what I mean? Like, if you could switch it around where the DS was the Switch and the Switch was the DS, like, what would be like the one that you took with you?
See, Ramagali, I think the argument here that I'm going to make for you is that your nostalgia is taking over on this argument.
I can appreciate like the fact that I can play multiplayer with someone right next to me with a Joy-Con. Like, I'm not dismissing that, because I'm not making it like a D or C tier. I was gonna make it like a B tier.
Sure.
But like,
you
I
came out
just
pretty
don't.
hard though. You came out
I'm
pretty
just
hard.
trying to
like,
understand I'm just trying to understand like what is going on in your reasoning behind thinking that it's just a B con, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah, no, I get you. Like, I don't mind. Okay, so the Switch on paper has everything that I wanted as a kid, right? Like you want wireless connectivity, you want a bigger screen, you want a rechargeable battery, you want a backlit screen, right? But outside of that, to me, it does nothing. Like it just does nothing. It's just a
See,
console you take with you on the go.
that doesn't make sense to me.
Like if you look at the
Like,
3DS, like with the 3DS, I had extra features like the Street Pass, where it's like if you met a random person, you got like this. It would basically
right. Okay.
gave you an incentive to have it on you.
So there's the word incentive.
Mhm.
So maybe this is where this conversation on the Switch is headed.
Yeah.
If there's no incentive other than just the game library for you to take that console out, that could be one of the reasons. But
That is definitely one of the reasons. Yeah.
Okay,
If there's no
so
incentive, there's just like
so then to Cheese's argument, it's a game library thing.
Well,
to
yeah.
an extent. To an extent, because I have games that I love in that Switch. I have my Mega Man X collection 1 and 2. I have my Mega Man 0 collection.
Yeah,
all the games that
games that you don't need a Switch to play.
Right. That, and I had like Mario Odyssey. I have Smash Brothers. I have Final Fantasy X. I have
again a game you don't need the fucking Switch to play.
Hold on. I have Mario Party. I have Mario Kart. I have. Damn, I know I have a lot more Switch games in there, like actual Switch titles that I don't need other consoles to play.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, that's why it comes down to this for you personally so much. It's like you have a million games on the DS that you'd play, as opposed to like the Switch. That's why it becomes obsolete to you. It's just the game library is not where it's at, and there's certain things about it that I can totally understand how it doesn't have its own like its own wireless data connection thing, you know what I mean? So it becomes a little like, oh man, it's not a step forward, it's not a step back, it's just stagnant from the last.
It's like the Wii U and the Wii.
No, it's not. It's not like that at all. The Wii U was a super step back, but
fair enough. You know what? Fair enough.
But it's like, but see, we're looking at a console as a whole. We're not just looking at its game library, which is the thing that I said about the 64. We're not just looking at why, like, you wouldn't take it just because, like, this game doesn't have fucking, like, fucking Pokemon Yellow on it. Like, okay, it's not. That's not the fucking. Like,
that's not the point. That's not the point of the. Yeah, that's not the point of the Switch. Like, I'm not being unreasonable with that. For me, then yes, I guess we can concede that. For me, it's incentive and the game library.
Yeah. But you got to think about like what it does, and again, I'm gonna throw the word out incentive. It's what it does to people who, like us back in the day, when our parents would drive us to school or drive us to our aunts or whatever the fuck. It's an incentive. The incentive is to bring it with you so that you can kind of like enjoy some media. But it's like, you know what makes that such a huge fucking problem is like being able to do that for a new generation. It's our phones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it has Hulu and YouTube, but so does my phone.
Exactly. So it's like for you, it's like this thing that you already have. Now the Switch becomes encumbering. You know what I mean? As opposed to like a smaller thing, like an SP or whatever the fuck. But
exactly.
And I get that, and that's why it's why I was gonna put it at a B specifically.
Okay.
So. But the reason I didn't want the only reason to be, it's like, the library's not great, which you're wrong. The library's fucking fantastic, but it's some of the funnest games that I've played in recent years. But the thing is, I can understand, like it has become encumbering due to the fact that the technology around it has now become greater. I get that 100%. And like I said, there's no like you can't have fucking Verizon service on your Switch. You have to use your phone, so you have to bring this thing with you if you want to play your Switch online, or you have to be at a spot or like a Starbucks or whatever, whatnots.
Like hell, you even had the mystery gift stuff, like Thundermouse was saying, like whenever you played Pokemon games for the 3DS, like 100%. They would give you mystery gift you friggin' Pokemon and like other game specific things like that.
100%. That's why I'm bringing up the case of like some things have just become stagnant, where it's like they're not like the innovation is different now. The innovation is on the wow factor for like the generation as a whole. Oh shit!
Yeah.
I could take this with me and play the new games, haha. Or oh damn, I could like I don't need like off the box. I have 2 controllers, so I could play Mario Kart or whatever. Or ha ho hey, I can digitally have these games on my thing without carrying a cartridge or what. Like there are certain things that are present mainstays that make sense on a Switch,
Yeah.
and then there are certain things that are like Nintendo, the Switch 2 better be a phone, dude, or else it's just not as cool as you thought it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we got VR now. I don't need 2 Switch controllers to simulate me shooting a bow. I could do that with my hands in VR now. And they cost the same as a Switch. You know what? The Oculus VR, the Oculus Quest, the wireless one, the one you could take everywhere, costs less than the damn Switch now.
Oh man.
So it's like,
all right.
it's a B for me, not only because of the library, because I think the library's dope. Like I said, Mario Odyssey for me is one of the best games of this generation, easily. And Breath of the Wild is also on that same boat. I mean, look at Elden Ring. It's basically Dark Souls, Breath of the Wild. It's come full circle now. Where Dark Souls was just Legend of Zelda, but older.
I'll tell you what. I'm actually considering this because I've had this conversation with several people like outside of this. I'm actually thinking about buying Breath of the Wild just to try it. And if I change my mind, I will let you know firsthand.
I think there's a lot of things about that game you're going to hate.
I mean, look, I play Elden Ring. Like, I already know that the weapon crafting. I already know the weapon duration system is going to be a thing that I have to get used to. Like, there's a bunch of things in that game I'm already made aware of. So, yeah.
Yeah. Switch does have Cat Quest, and Cat Quest is really fun. But I could play it on my Steam Deck when it comes out. See, that's the thing too. Out. The fact that the Steam Deck is like gonna get sent to my house relatively soon. It's like. The Switch is already obsolete. It's a lot of money, though. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of money.
So, are we all in unison or agreement for it being B tier, or Jeremy, do you have a point to counter?
Yeah.
You guys brought up a lot of really good points, so I don't really have too much else to offer. I mean, for me personally, the moment, and I'll never forget it, that day in October of 2016 when I saw the first trailer release for the Switch, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I can play console level games on the go on the subway. Like, I'm sold. But my lifestyle is different now. I'm in a spot where I'm not taking public transportation, so it's just I think it just depends on preference. Also, I am definitely a fan of Nintendo for all of their wrongdoings. It's just, this is a company that I actually invest in. So it's, it's one of those things where I am going to be biased, but knowing that these arguments come up, I do have to put that aside.
How biased can you be when you put the N64 not on S?
Right, that's true. That's true. But as you can see, I'm proving my point that even though I do love a company and what it's given me, like to my personal life, I'm still able to challenge certain aspects of it. If I were to put the Switch into a B, I would be removing my first experience of being a father with playing Breath of the Wild and learning how to do my job as a father.
Sure.
So I feel like I would be doing myself a personal disservice if I put the Switch lower than an A, but I will put it at B for the pure fact that yes, there are a lot of things that you can play that you don't just need a Switch for. I do remember that there were a lot of snowy days when a lot of people didn't come to my job, where I would take out my Switch and I would have the 2 Joy-Cons and we would play Mario Kart 8 right then and there. Like that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
But I would say B, just for the prerequisites of the Steam Deck is coming, the Steam Deck is here, and it's just it's gonna overtake a lot.
So I'm
just for you, just for you.
Until the Steam Deck is in everybody's hands, I've created a new rank, which is a B+, but I'm also putting it there because there is a semblance of that cooperative come together like style that Nintendo was really popular for with like the Wii and the
Right, but
64 and the
which is
GameCube
why
and stuff like
you and
that.
I, Cheese, still want to do the Nintendo Switch Online because we want to pass the controller. We want to
Exactly.
do that.
But then again,
Yeah, and I enjoy that.
we're lucky enough that it allows us to do that. But because we also have computers, there's also nefarious ways to do that.
That's a very good choice of words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
All
you
right,
know,
I
because
think
it's
I think we put this.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So B plus for the Nintendo so far.
yeah. B
Um,
plus.
right
I like
now
that.
until everybody gets their hands on the Steam Deck, and then it moves down to B.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep.
So
Okay.
what do we got here? We got the Sega CD, or what is this that we have? Here?
Just right click on the image and open in a new tab and see what it says.
It doesn't let me do that.
Oh, that's
I'm just
that's
gonna like
nutty.
do this.
Oh,
It's a
that
Sega
looks like
Saturn. It's a Sega Saturn.
Saturn.
You're full of shit. The Sega. I will slap you in
Oh,
the face.
Genesis. The Genesis is 3, 4, 5 down. 5 on the right. My bad.
I'll kill you. It's all, I'll kick your ass. That is the Sega Saturn.
Saturn is a C.
Saturn.
Yeah.
Oh, Saturn sucked.
Yeah.
Saturn.
Maybe a D.
C.
Saturn-
I would go C just for Sonic CD.
We're gonna do
Nah.
C because the mushroom cloud is coming up pretty soon. So
Okay.
okay, so we're doing Atari. No, what is this? This is Atari 7200 or which one is this one?
Zoom in, my boy.
That looks like the 50. No, I'm
No,
sorry.
52
That-
was brown.
They won't let you right click it, right?
Nah. I can
Save out.
search
Try hitting save as. Try hitting save as and see what it tells you the file name is.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Nah.
You could try reverse Google searching it, I guess.
I think this is the set. But it's like one whole thing. It's weird.
Ah.
We're talking about video game consoles.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hey, buddy.
Okay, I think this is the 7200 because I don't remember owning this one at all.
7800.
7800. Sorry. 52.
7800 D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we come to it, the 5200 D.
D. What do we got here? We got the
Mr. Game and Watch thing, right?
This is the Game and Watch Donkey Kong 2, but we're going strictly to the Game and Watches.
Okay.
I think they're C.
Game and Watch, I think, is C.
I think it's a C.
Okay.
And the only reason I say C is because if you think about it, like the reason that they were created was because what's his name? Gunpei Yokoi saw a Japanese businessman playing with his calculator on the way home,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Well, I have a solution for this,"
Yeah.
and he made the Game and Watch with the D-pad, and it was pretty awesome.
Okay, so I believe this next one is the Amiga 32 or no, what the hell is it? 32-bit, 34-bit console. That shit goes down to a D easily. We're gonna wait for Jay.
Yeah, we're gonna put the Amiga down
to D
sell
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
And what about the Magnavox Odyssey?
The first one or the second one?
I think this is the first.
That's the first one. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first. Put it in C.
It was cool for what it was. At the
Right,
time.
correct. So, I mean, this is the same argument we brought up with the N64. Is
Innovation.
that it was the first home game console. Here, do you need help? I will help.
We support family in this podcast.
Of course.
100%.
Okay. Whoops.
Especially when they're adorable.
Heck yeah.
Yep. Okay.
They got
Awesome.
matching shirts, kind of.
I know.
I'm feeling that.
Yeah, we have our matching Sonic shirts because we saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2 today.
How'd you like it?
Hey.
No spoilers, but how'd you like it?
What'd you think of Sonic 2 today? It was good. We can't give away spoilers, so we can't say anything.
Okay.
But you liked it a lot, didn't you? Yeah. It definitely was a lot of fun. Definitely go see it.
Mouse does not second this family statement. Well,
Mouse, you're our family, so you have
You're
no
basically
choice.
family to us now. I've basically known you longer than a lot of my family members, so you're basically family to me.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
dude,
Mouse, you're cool in my book, Mouse.
There you go.
see, your family. It's the Vin Diesel.
No,
Just
you.
your family.
Ouch.
Um,
Ouch. It's like
what is
Olive
that?
Garden.
32X is next.
32X is next. It's also a D, but
D. Well,
Sega,
yeah, D.
Sega Genesis.
so this
Sega
is
Genesis.
Especially for those games that had to require
No.
the
no. We're talking
the
about the
32X
32X
and the
specifically. We're talking about
Oh.
like games like Corpse Killer and things like that.
Yes, we're only talking about the 32X, not the Genesis. We're talking
Okay.
about the 32X.
You have to
Okay,
like,
I'm
like,
good,
You have
I'm
to
good.
remember, I'll
Like,
never say that
Primal
about the Genesis.
Rage was released on the 32X.
Yeah,
And we
but
all know how we feel about Primal Rage.
I love Primal Rage for Super Nintendo, but it's but for the Sega Genesis, that's a different story. We'll talk about that when you know.
We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yes.
Remy, that is even worse. How dare you mention Diesel?
How dare?
How dare you?
You've reached the family checkpoint. When you're here, you're
Right.
family.
Here we go. We got the PlayStation 3, which I think
That one's a C easily.
it's a C. Well,
I can't really speak on the PlayStation 3.
Well, okay,
I'm
fine.
gonna put
I
it on
can
a
concede
B.
to B.
I'm gonna put it on a B because I'm gonna put the 360 on the B plus, and I'll tell you why. And I will specifically tell you why when we get to it.
I actually don't. I'm not arguing with that.
Okay.
Is
cool.
that the charbroiled Game Boy?
No, it's not. It's well, I don't even. What is this? I don't. I don't even know what this is.
And it's got to be a Game Boy for sure.
It's not. It's
No,
not
it's
a Game Boy. I've never seen a Game Boy. I've never seen a Game Boy like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this
As what the hell is this?
Maybe pile. We'll
as-
call it the
as what? That's the what tier?
Chat, if you know what it is, feel free to educate us.
I also have no idea what this next thing is.
Well, let me see.
Oh, it's the Atari. It's the
okay.
Atari. I'm sorry. It's one of those weird Ataris that we never got.
Still a what?
Still what?
The other one's a Mega Duck, so that's a what?
So this is a definitely. What is this? This is
Mega Duck.
no, I know, but who
Mega.
made this? I don't know. You know what? I think this is kind of one of those weird like third party like Chinese like 501s.
Hold on, I'm looking this up. The Mega Duck, also known as the Cougar Boy. Yeah, you're right. It is a Hong Kong-based Wellback Holdings console.
D.
It was released in 1993.
D.
360 is a B plus. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why right now.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Tell us.
100% right now because of Xbox Live. 100%. 100% because of that online connectivity. Not because you paid for it, because I understand PlayStation had free online.
Yep,
But-
it did.
But this Xbox 360, while both of them had problems, the
360 had less.
the 360 had less problems by a
You only
large
had-
margin.
You only had one issue with the 360, and that was the Red Ring of Death, which could be easily remedied by reapplying thermal paste.
Yeah, and if you couldn't do it, you sent it in, and maybe they
Wait,
didn't give you one back.
Repeat that one more time. What about thermal paste? What?
The Xbox 360 had a known thermal issue called the Red Ring of Death, meaning if
Right,
it got
that I
too
knew
hot,
about.
right, you would have to go in there, disassemble it, and reapply an adequate amount of thermal paste to get it to work.
Yeah, so if you were like computer savvy, you knew exactly what to do about it.
Right.
And if you
right.
Yeah,
weren't-
the PlayStation 3 had a similar issue with the yellow light of death, but it also had an abundance of issues with everything else.
I'm gonna get a closer image of this handheld for mouse real quick. This one right here.
Zoom in a little more. I think I can make out what.
Oh, it's the TurboGrafx freaking thing. It's the TurboGrafx freaking portable system. That thing was
Put that in a-
crap.
Put that in. Put that in D.
That's in D. Oh my god, that thing was
In D.
awful. Thank you for saying that, Mouse. That I got a second chance to look at it. I thought I recognized the TurboGrafx logo in the middle, but I was like, "Oh, this is a QR code. Nobody knows what this is." No. Oh, that thing is, it's god awful.
What's next?
The
The
360,
Pocket.
the 360 also continues. Well,
Oh.
the 360 also for like years after its production has had the best controller by far of any other console's controller. Like
Yeah.
ever. Like I'm talking, this is
Huh.
a better controller than a Super Nintendo controller. This is better than the original Xbox's controller, the Duke, that pile. This
That's
is better
fair.
than the
Okay.
PlayStation 2, 3, 4. It wasn't until the DualSense came out that the Xbox 360 controller wasn't the best controller on the market.
It was actually better made too. Actually better made too.
I will fight anybody on that.
Not just ergonomics, but it was actually better made, not aesthetically, but like for durability.
Yeah, dude.
Because I can tell you, I went through 2 of these fucking Xbox controllers. I went through 2 of these where the right button up here does not work.
Yeah.
I've disassembled it. I've done everything I could. It replaced the button. It does not work. I would have to resolder that switch.
That's an X-Bone controller too. That's the one right after.
I have 2 Xbox 360 controllers that I have yet to disassemble or yet to have any issues with outside of rechargeable batteries. That is it.
Wow.
So next we got the. I've never seen this version of the Neo Geo Pocket.
That is the Neo Geo Pocket
color.
And
okay.
Please put it in C.
I'll put it in C because I know the game library specifically, but also it was dope. I'm not gonna say it wasn't cool.
It was a really it was Neo Geo's fun little way of like poking their head into the market and saying, "Hey guys, guess what? Remember when we used to have arcade cabinets that you could switch the games? Well, guess what? We're portable now," and it was fun.
I like SNK specifically too.
It's a cute little C.
It's cool, but it ain't no damn Game Boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's true.
And neither was
the Game Gear. That one's
Game
C tier. That shit required 8 batteries and didn't even last that long.
And it had.
I have mine. Mine's right here. It's in my case.
It had a backlight. So did the Lynx, I think.
Yeah.
The Lynx. Yes, correct.
That is an Xbox One.
So I'm gonna throw that at B. I'm gonna throw that at B. Xbox One was chill. It was a chill console. It was a multimedia console. You know.
Yeah. Did we lose you, Cheezy?
No, I'm just making gestures.
Yeah, no, I figured. I
was doing the the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing, fucking.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It was cool. I just wasn't as good as the 360. No, not by a long shot. I don't care who's gonna come up and be like Forza. Yeah, I don't give a shit about Forza. So,
no one cares about Forza.
This is
that.
Which one is this?
I can't tell.
This is I'm trying to remember what arcade system this is, but because I can't at the back of my head, could anybody remember this? What I'm looking at right now? You guys at home might not remember because it's not showing on the thing.
Just do an LA Noire reference.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw this over here, and this is the TVS or Spiel. I'm gonna assume it's like one of those TV5 or TV20 or TV15 consoles that.
Still a what?
Oh yeah. Because you can have all the games built in here.
Yeah, still a what?
So, yeah. I know what this is, but I've never seen this one.
PS Vita deserves to go in B or B plus.
I'll punch you in the dick.
No, PS Vita deserves B or B plus.
Oh yeah, the Vita was dope. It had Persona.
No, I mean, look, man. Considering how Sony has a habit of not supporting their consoles, the Vita for its time was actually not bad. If they actually poured resources into that console, it would have been big.
You get this. Okay, look, this for a B. For a B, this gets to be your golden ticket to be a B. And I'll put the PlayStation back at A. So the problem. This is another thing. Okay, so this is another problem with the fucking Vita. That I can say the same thing for the Nintendo for the Wii to the Wii U. It's literally a PSP, but kind of shittier.
What?
Yeah.
I need to hear why.
Yeah.
And Jeremy's laughing, which means I think he's on the same boat.
Yeah. Oh well, if he's got a counter argument to that, I'm 100% about it.
I have no counter argument.
Okay.
That's what I mean. I think you two are on the same boat, and I'm the odd man out.
Yeah. Okay. So, the only reason why I'm saying this on a third person aspect or a third person perspective, because I didn't own a Vita, but I borrowed one for a while, and I was like,
that counts. You played it for a while.
This just feels like a shittier PSP. I'll give it to you that the format for games was it's more structurally sound. Sure. I'll give you that.
Okay.
But it felt like a piece of shit.
All
like
right.
even in the time I played it, I was already getting drift, and I played it for like it was brand new. I played for like 3 days.
Okay. That's fair. That's what I mean by saying like actually pouring resources and making it better.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like this thing broke faster than the PSP. It was also the PS Vita, so its library was questionable at best. I will say it had Persona, but library was kind of questionable at best, and it's like it had this weird it was almost like it wanted to move towards digital only. You know what I mean?
So kind of like what today is happening.
Exactly, and that's why it sucks, and that's why I don't own a fucking PlayStation or an Xbox. I own a PC. You know.
Fair enough. All right. Fair enough.
Because if I'm gonna have everything digital only, I'm gonna have the
Might as well just have
best,
PC.
might as well have it the best way you could possibly have it. You know what I'm saying? But I think the PSP, like, think about the games that it had. PSP had freaking Ultimate Marvel, but you're also playing Ultimate. You're playing Ultimate Marvel on a fucking play on like this. Like if you
But you also had
stream,
Smash Brothers on a Switch, but you also had it on a 3DS, and you also had it on a Wii.
but you also had a choice. For the Wii, you had a choice to play it on a fucking GameCube controller. That you didn't have a choice with the PS Vita.
All right, fair enough.
You couldn't you couldn't remote play with a fucking like controller or anything, or you know what I mean? Like you couldn't do that. I think it's a B, and I'm gonna put it, or no, yeah, I think it's a C, but I'm gonna put it as a B because I'm sure you have some weird ass convoluted fucking argument.
I was literally just gonna. I literally was just gonna say free online, free game, like good game library, not a bad UI. Like I would, and it was not bad for what it was, in my opinion. It just wasn't bad for what it was. Screen size was adequate. Like I actually liked it.
It had PS Plus, right? You get like a free game every month or whatever. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give it that. Whatever. Fuck it.
You see what I mean? Like for a handheld at the time, it was like a portable PlayStation because you could also, to a certain extent, play certain games from PlayStation on the Vita, like as a mirror.
Yeah. All right. I'll put it at a B.
You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if they had dumped resources into it and made it better in terms of design and like not having the issues that you were having an issue with, it would have been great.
Sure.
But yeah,
that's why I'm like, I'll say B. I don't know if Jeremy's cool with saying B. I'll say B.
Yeah, I didn't really play a lot of the PS Vita, so
yeah, nobody did.
You're good. Yeah, no, it's okay. It was one of those like obscure niches.
Okay.
It was one of those things that people were like, oh man, they'll spend money on that. Right.
I hate you so much for that.
I don't know what the hell this next thing is. Do you guys know what this is? I don't know what the hell this
is. The blue one?
Yeah, this looks like another like Chinese console.
Probably. We're gonna put that under what?
Unless anybody know what this is.
Nope.
Okay.
It just looks like a colored like game knockoff, like the N64 Pikachu. Hey, you Pikachu, blue and yellow.
This is the Neo Geo Pocket. Yeah. That's a D.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's the D.
Yeah.
The color, the pocket color is a C.
ColecoVision?
Is that the Intellivision or ColecoVision?
I think that's the Intellivision.
Would it make a difference?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it would.
Okay. Intellivision, I'm sorry. Too many buttons. D.
Yeah. Game Boy Color.
Sorry.
All right. Yes,
B.
That's
B plus at best. Like I love the Game Boy Color. I love it because it introduced color and everything, but it was literally a smaller Game Boy.
If you put the Game Boy Color in A, you have to move the original Game Boy down to B plus.
Yeah. I actually will make that argument too.
There we go.
Yeah.
This thing, the Telstar.
The Telstar.
The Telstar is so dope.
Is this the triangle one?
Yeah, but it's also so shitty at the same time. It is the dopest bad console.
Can we please put it in C just for
the shotgun?
Aesthetic?
Just for the shotgun?
No, yeah. Just for its aesthetic.
So if you don't know what it is this console that it was super different. It took like this triangle cartridge to play the games, and it had like 5 games or something like that. But it did this weird thing. Was it the shotgun or was it the revolver?
It was a revolver.
It was a revolver. Okay, so it had like a steering wheel on it, and it had like a straight legit revolver. So I'm talking about like this. You're gonna have to give me a second. We're talking about like like the Sega Genesis Justifier type of revolver. We're talking about
Oh,
this thing
no.
right here.
Holy shit.
This is what it looked. It came out the console and it was heavy. It felt like metal. You know
That
what
is
I mean?
so weird.
Let me see.
Here, I'll put it up on the stream one more time. If I'm
Oh yeah.
if I'm to be correct, it used the exact same light technology that the later
Nintendo?
like the later things like Nintendo and stuff would use.
The gaming historian just did a whole video back in December about all the different light gun peripherals. It's actually pretty cool.
Okay, well I'd definitely check it out.
We're good.
I like a historian.
All right. The next one,
PS4.
PlayStation 4. That deserves to be B plus or an A.
The PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
For itself,
I would B plus.
I would go B plus or an A, like for sure.
B plus.
Because the PlayStation 3 controller also had a controller issue that the PS4 actually fixed.
Yeah. All right.
A lot of the design, a lot like compared to its predecessor, and you still had free online PlayStation Plus
For a little while.
Yeah, for a little while.
Yeah. Okay. What do we got? We got this PlayStation thing. We got this baby monitor.
Not a
What?
It literally has a PlayStation logo.
That's
on
a
it.
that's a.
That's a baby monitor, dude. What is this?
Hold on, I gotta look that up. What the
I don't know
hell?
what the hell this is.
Uh-oh. I think we lost him.
I'm
Yeah, I
like,
think we did.
no, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah,
going.
You still exist.
I'm just getting throttled for some reason.
Oh, it is a PlayStation console.
Is it?
It's the Pocket Station.
I don't know what the fuck.
It was released in 1999. It was supposed to be released the first Pocket PlayStation as a memory card peripheral for the original PlayStation, which doubled as a portable gaming system. Yeah, it was basically a PDA.
Ah.
And hold on, what else did it do?
It's like the Dreamcast.
Users had to get special software bundled on the CDs of PlayStation games. The software included enhancements to the main gameplay or would feature mini games that could only be played on the Pocket Station.
All right, that's gonna go on a D for sure.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's a regular DS, no?
That's a 2DS. No, that's not a 2DS. That's
a regular DS.
Is it? Did they come in blue? I thought they all came in like.
Hold on,
gray.
zoom in.
No,
I thought
that is the original. That is the original design.
that is the original design. Yeah, that's just a blue DS.
Yeah, because it has the bump here, and then the other ones didn't have. Okay, cool. Regular DS.
Because it's the original and the innovator, I want to go like low B, high C.
Okay.
Yeah, go B.
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 Oh, oops. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Nintendo Wii.
A.
Hey.
Hey. Okay, so
anything after the GameCube, I'm harshly critical on Nintendo.
I always push innovation, as you know.
Right.
And this was a very innovative product, but with any innovative product, it had
there are drawbacks.
Its drawbacks but were fixed. They were fixed. Just like the PlayStation itself had analog sticks attached to it. The Wiimote had the Wiimote Plus thing, right? Where every new controller came with the Wiimote Plus, and then it had the little, the thing that turned into you realistically they were the thing that made you feel like Bruce Lee because you used them as. But it was actually called the nunchuck. Okay. I'm back, I think. So we're gonna.
There.
Hello. So we're gonna speed this up a We're gonna move on.
B plus.
We're gonna move on. I don't know what this is.
Moving on.
What is this?
Moving on.
Zoom in, my boy. It
What is this thing that I'm looking at?
looks like a
Is it-
Famicom.
Is it the Atari Pippin? No, it's not.
No.
Oh wait, is that
It looks like a Panasonic console. But what is it actually?
3DO? But put in what?
What?
Yeah, put in what?
Okay, so we're gonna put that in what? Are we also putting the Adventure Vision on what?
Yeah, I've
that's
never
fine.
touched that.
I don't know.
That looks like a PSP knockoff.
This is
That's
a
not
super
that's
PSP knockoff.
That's a what?
This is called the Zodiac 2. Yeah, okay, Ted Cruz.
Yeah, those are what? That's a what?
I don't know what the hell this is. This
Yeah,
is an
it's a-
Atari.
That's an Atari. That looks like a 5200.
That's a piece of shit, so I'm gonna put it at what?
Yep.
Uh,
But indeed.
This is the TV game console.
Oh, from Nintendo,
5?
the TV color TV, whatever. It's a Pong console. It's Pong.
It's yeah,
Pong.
it's a C because you know its place in history.
Yes, it's Pong.
All right. The next one I don't know, but it looks like an N64 ripoff.
I don't know what the hell this thing is. What? It's got Dora the Explorer on it, so that
I go under what? That's what we're trying.
make it make sense.
I already.
We know. Oh man.
All right, sorry about
My
that.
son came.
And we'll be done. I just gotta wait for the stream to
Okay,
reconnect.
cool.
You know. All right, so we should be back.
Cool.
Stream's back.
We are at the Atari Jaguar, which I'm gonna put on D because oh man.
Yeah, because it's the Atari Jaguar, and we're all like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
The next one looks like a Canada console.
Famicom from
you're
No
you're actually like I hate you. Famicom goes on.
All right. PlayStation 3 can go C or B.
B is fine for PlayStation because I mean it's already right there.
I mean, fair enough.
Oh
yeah, it's already there.
Somebody really liked the PlayStation. I don't know.
That is the Atari. Wait, what? That is the Sega Master System.
It is the Sega Master System.
I enjoy the Sega Master, and it's
Okay. B for Brazil.
B for Brazil.
There you go. Super Famicom.
That is Super Famicom is all. Well, I mean, can we make the argument that it's also S tier then because it's the Japanese
Yeah.
original?
Yes.
Correct. Yes, we could.
I don't know what this is.
Ooh,
It looks like
what? That is
It looks. That is definitely a what?
It's a what?
that's a that's a calculator. So
That's a what if I ever did see.
That's a what?
This is the Panasonic
Sonic 3DO.
the
D.
other 3DO, yeah.
D.
Game Boy Advance, A, 100%.
Yes, A, 1,000% A.
Yes, A. Absolute A.
What
A
a
grade.
beast.
You win.
Atari? Or no, what is this?
That. Oh.
This is the
that-
52, isn't it?
No, the 52.
What the hell is this? I can't remember. What
I
this is.
don't know who that is. It looks like Coleco. No.
No. It's
We'll just
definitely
put that in.
it's definitely
Vector
one of the
games.
it's definitely one of those early ones. Xbox original B.
C.
B B B B B B B B B B.
Okay.
That's
BB.
that's a
BB.
vector console or whatever that
Right,
is. That's
okay. So original
the-
Xbox B.
I would have said C.
B.
oh really?
B
Yeah.
because it
Oh.
again
Wow.
because it had Xbox Live and PlayStation did not until way later. Way later.
I was gonna say big bulky design. It was a radiator. The controllers weren't ergonomic. The only thing it really had going for it was the Halo and Halo series. That's it.
That's not true. Actually, it had more than that.
I know it had Blinks and a bunch of other franchises,
Nah,
but like,
it had more than that. But
PlayStation's catalogs overshadowed it. Anyway, moving on.
but PlayStation's above it. Oh no, it's yeah, PlayStation 2 is above it.
I know that's what I'm saying, but like, it's fine. Moving on.
This guy. God, TV system or what the fuck is? I can't remember what this is. It's been so long.
Oh, no.
This is the Vectrex. This is the Vectrex.
Yes,
This is the
that's
Vector
the
system.
Vectrex. That has to go in C.
This is gonna go and see for its innovation. 100% super cool console. If you haven't had a chance to try a Vector like console, super dope for the time.
Yep.
Sega Nomad.
Sega Nomad has
D?
to go in. No.
Hell no, dude.
No. Think about this, okay? What other home console gaming system in the night could you just take with you on the go?
Yeah. It was literally the first.
honestly,
It was like the
yes.
first Nintendo Switch, basically.
Nomad has to go at least in B or B plus.
It's going B plus. 100%.
Oh, okay.
You could play Sonic the Hedgehog on this thing. Like the
shit.
same Sonic the Hedgehog that you played on your Sega
Nomad
Genesis.
Played Sega Genesis game,
Yeah.
Oh, what?
and it was released by Sega.
Yeah. It was dope, dude.
It's pretty,
Oh,
yeah.
If you had if you had one of those things on the playground, you're a badass. Easy.
Yeah, you were, or rich parents, but you know,
Or
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have rich parents,
I didn't either. Because I didn't even know that thing existed.
but I know a Nomad exists, and I've had one in my hands before.
I never knew this thing
I've
existed.
had one in my hands in like 6th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
This
mine
thing
was-
required 6 AA batteries
Yeah. Yes.
for only 2 to 3 hours of playtime.
Yeah.
Holy hell!
This thing was
Correct.
a monster.
But it worked.
Yeah.
And it worked well.
Yaki can attest to that. Fantastic. This is the CD peripheral for the Nintendo 64.
N64.
Oh, the disc drive.
The disc drive. I can't super remember
Mm.
the
disc drive has to go in-
utilization.
Yeah, the disc drive has to go into like C. Because
Yeah.
it really did try to do online capabilities. It tried to do a whole new Mario Paint thing.
Yeah.
It tried. It really did try. But it's a C.
Okay.
That's the 3DS.
This is-
I love the 3DS.
I'm a huge,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan.
Go
of
in
I would
this.
go A.
A.
I would say A.
3DS is
3DS is an A.
3D.
3DS is a night. This
are you?
what is this? This bootleg ass looking fucking VCR.
That looks like. Is that no?
No, I've never seen
Dude,
this. I don't know what
the
the hell
next-
this is.
The next 3s are what for me?
No, the Atari.
The
Lynx
Lynx is not-
GameCube.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not a what for me, that's for sure. To the real
Yeah.
ones, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that.
The Lynx.
And then the Atari Lynx. What are you thinking, LGs?
You said it's next to the GameCube? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
that's the Atari.
No, it's literally right next to the
No,
game.
I was like, that's not where I would put those fucking Lynx.
No. It's
Uh,
right next to the GameCube in placement on the.
So
the
so the problem with the Lynx is that by that time, the Game Boy existed, and so did the Game Gear,
Right.
and so did the Nomad.
Yeah, that's true. I would put the Lynx in D. Unfortunately,
it was probably the worst of the handhelds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was all right. I mean, there are a couple of good games on the
GameCube's a
Lynx,
B
but not-
plus. Kiss my ass.
I was actually gonna say the same thing. B plus.
B plus.
Yeah,
What
Like you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
I don't know what this is. Do you know what
That's
this
a
is?
what?
This is
Nope.
this is a what? PSP, baby! Right next to the PS Vita.
Actually, yeah.
Right in front of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, I can do. Yeah, I can get
Right
down
in
with
front of that. This next one looks like those like another one. Oh, this was the card thing. Oh god, the game mate. Yeah, this used freaking cards to as
Oh,
I remember that.
cartridges to play
Game Mate.
games.
I've seen that.
Yaki,
Uh,
you could send that to my PO box. This thing was terrible. I'll tell you this right now. That system with the cards was
Yeah.
as bad as every other 501.
Oh, good.
How can you say such things when it had Super Monkey Ball? I mean, hey, you right. I'm gonna say you right, but it also had Sonic Heroes, so it bumps it down like one. It bumps it down one. I don't know.
Alright, that I don't know.
This
Wait,
is
what
the
is that? Let me. Wait. Go back. Go back.
this blue one?
No,
Yeah.
the other one. The other one. The
Yeah.
other one.
No, the
Blue
blue
one.
one. The blue one.
Yes, the blue
Ah.
one. That is the Wonder Swan. We're putting the Wonder Swan in B.
You can. You have to, no, you're gonna. I know what the Wonder Swan is. I don't remember it looking like that, but I know what it is. And you could fight me on this one. You're gonna have to explain yourself, sir.
The Wonder Swan in Japan, I think, was just under the Game Boy, because the Wonder Swan offered slightly better graphics and sound. It had a couple more game options. It offered a little bit more than what the Game Boy was offering in Japan at the time of the one. For the Wonder Swan, and I gotta tell you, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good system. Definitely a B, if not C.
All right. Before that, you need to explain to me what's going on
It's
here.
it's really, yeah, it's there. Well, actually, it was actually just personal preference of the player. That's all it was. And also, if you needed more like options, it's think of it of things. That's exactly what that was.
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. The Joy-Con. Think of the Joy-Con, how it had the analog stick on the top, and then it has the optional D-pad or directional pad button. Kind of acted the same way, but there were some games that were like, hey, do you prefer to use the top or the button?
Okay. I'll take B. Man, I wish I knew more about this console specifically.
You know what?
I'm gonna have to take your word for it.
Just put it in a B. I know a lot of people who would appreciate me putting that in B.
Atari, baby.
That's an A. Atari 2600.
It is the best of the Atari consoles.
It's an A.
It's the best you could have at that time.
Yep.
I mean, some would wager to say it was the only thing you had at that time, but they'd be wrong.
They would definitely be wrong, because there were people who had ColecoVision.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn.
This is the.
Is that football thing?
No, that's not a Tiger
No.
Electronic thing. But this
That's a
is
Game Pocket computer.
This is a Game Pocket computer made by. I don't know. So I'm gonna throw that right there.
We're gonna put in what?
That's an A.
That
That's an A. That is an A.
Yeah, I can't. I
Hey,
can't.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was dragging it up. I can't think of another console next to the Super Nintendo and the 64 that just give me the joy and glee.
No. The Famicom's an A.
No.
Oh, no, you're talking about the other one. The
I
Japanese
will-
one.
Japanese
I will-
Famicom.
I will mess you
It's
up,
in
sir.
B.
What is this?
What is that?
Is this
that looks like
Why does it?
I think
why does it look like a Sega Genesis controller?
like a monstrosity. It looks like a VCR had a
It's-
date with a 3DO.
This is no. This is the all-in-one freaking 32X CD thing.
Nah.
No, there's no way. Surprised
Okay.
that I'm not. Oh wait. Oh, never mind.
There's no way. Okay, what?
Okay. That is the Sega SG-1000.
It sure is.
We're gonna put that in. We're gonna put it in D.
D?
D?
Yeah, because it just the Master System was more superior.
That's the Apple one, right?
That is that the Apple Pippin? No, it doesn't look like
No,
the Apple.
it's not.
Because the Apple Pippin has that boomerang.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
see
right. That's
it.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
We'll put out what?
What? Yeah,
That's
this is the
the-
32X CD.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
No.
that's at what? That's at what?
Like, why?
This is
That looks like
A
the
Genesis?
Neo Geo.
Neo
No,
Geo
that is
CD.
No?
Neo Geo.
This is the Neo Geo CD.
I mean, the price tag alone puts it in a D, but I mean, for being able to bring like arcade quality. Well, no, I'm sorry, not thinking correctly.
No,
The
you're
Neo
not.
Geo brought the cartridges of $800 a cartridge home with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
The CD I don't have much knowledge on, so
What?
I would put the CD in. No, I'd put it in C. Yeah.
Okay.
Jaguar again.
Add-on? Wait, is that an add-on to the
It is the
Jaguar?
add-on to the Jaguar.
Put that
Oh,
in
Lord.
what? Because I don't think it needed an add-on, nor do I like one.
I think we got 2 Pong consoles up ahead.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna put those in the
we're gonna put those in what? Because I think we already have a Pong
Yeah.
console like
Yeah,
up
we
there.
talked about Pong. It's all. Who are you?
What the hell?
Ooh, let's see.
What is this?
Oh, is that? Wait.
This is the Zavi X port.
Oh, that's going in what?
Yeah, that's also going on what?
Sure is, kid.
Super Micro. What about the Super Micro?
Oh,
I have never played that.
What? All right,
nope.
cool.
What?
The
VCR PC keyboard combo. No, I'm kidding.
I don't even know. Commodore. Commodore.
Commodore 64.
Commodore 64. That is a solid B. If you really
A mouse.
that is the Sega Genesis.
That is definitely the Sega Genesis. What the heck happened here? Rami disconnected?
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
There he is.
Oh, he's back. There
That
he is.
was on me. That one was on me.
Okay. All right. So
All right.
we're knocking this
Sega-
last little bit out. All right, it's the Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis.
Not the Mega
A.
Drive, but the Sega Genesis,
That's an
Good
A.
night, buddy.
which are like
I
the
love
same thing. Sorry for keeping you up this late. That's
That's
a
right.
That's a
I had
easy.
no fun with it today.
The R zone is
I love
D.
you. Our zone is a D.
The Blockbuster Microvision is a what?
It's definitely a what. We only have this last row and then we're good.
What is this?
That's a what?
This is the no. This is not.
That is the Magnavox Odyssey 2.
Odyssey 2,
I own one.
Wow.
We're gonna put it in D because it's. I mean, I love it, but we're putting it in D because it suffered from the video game crash syndrome, and it also tried to do like knockoff games and stuff. I
Okay.
love it, but I mean, just because of personal aesthetic, but it has to go in D. What is that?
That was Or the failure of the Acme product.
No,
Right.
you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Rule 3.
We're not a fanatic. Repeat, Finn doubles his effort when he has forgotten his aim. Oh no. No dialogue ever except beep beep. The roadrunner must stay on the road, otherwise logically he would not be called a roadrunner.
That's
Oh
it's
my
true.
god.
Called road
All
runner.
action must be confined to the natural environment of the two characters, the Southwest American desert. Oh my god. All tools, materials, weapons, or mechanical conveniences must be obtained from the Acme Corporation. Whenever possible, make gravity the coyote's greatest enemy.
Oh my god.
The coyote is always more humiliated than harmed by his failures. I love these rules. What the hell?
Yep. You know what? You know where this picture was taken? At the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens, New York, where I grew up.
No way.
Yeah, man. These are the cardinal 9 rules that everybody had to follow when making the Roadrunner cartoons, and that's why they're all so hysterical, especially with Rule 3, when a fanatic is one who redoubles his effort when he has forgotten his aim. It's like my son asked, why does he want to like catch the Roadrunner? And I try and explain to him what it means to be a fanatic.
He just wants to.
Right.
It has
It's like,
to.
right, but it's like you define fanatic nowadays, and people would like listen to you and be like, redoubling your aim. I don't know what that means, and I'm like, well, you're redoubling your aim. You're redoubling your effort because you've forgotten why you love it in the first.
Yeah.
All of these books
Yeah.
that have to deal starting with a Y.
Okay.
Because you're a fanatic about what you.
For
It's
sure.
like people work too hard instead of working smart, and they work too hard because they've redoubled their effort.
Forgotten.
They've
Yep.
forgotten their aim. Right.
All right.
What else do we have
Sega
left?
Dreamcast.
Yes, Dreamcast. Okay, please put this in A.
Yeah.
Please
Mhm.
put
Ah,
Dreamcast.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I was
Thank
about to say, Rem, if you were gonna fight me,
I wasn't.
I was about to say,
I wasn't.
if you were gonna
wasn't.
fight me, Rem.
Dreamcast is just a very good system.
It was ahead of its time. It was ahead of its time.
So good.
It's ahead of its time, and if it was anything but Sega, it would have been the best console ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's true.
Pokemon Mini is the next one.
Pokemon Mini, we're always gonna put Pokemon stuff pretty high.
That lawnmower looking console, I have no idea what that is.
That
is the
is a
Virtual
piece
Boy.
of shit. Is what it is.
That is the Virtual Boy.
That's a Wii U.
That is a Wii U, and we're gonna put it
That
at
is a
C.
I have no idea what those last ones are, except for the.
TurboGrafx.
I think-
that is the Neo. That is the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah,
That is going in B.
it's a good console. I agree.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Going in B.
Be regular. What else do we got? We have. We got the Wonder Swan.
That's the Neo Geo. No,
Game-
that's the Neo Geo.
Game. I'm just gonna put this right here real quick.
Oh, Gamecom put it in what? Yeah, Gamecom. That's another Wonder Swan.
Yeah.
But that's the black and white Wonder Swan,
and
and
it's
then
the
that's
Neo
the
Geo
Neo Geo.
with the arcade.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember this one.
But the Neo, you know what? Because we're gonna put the Neo Geo in B,
Okay.
and the only reason it isn't higher is because the console and the games
Super
were
expensive.
astronomically expensive.
Yeah.
That is the Wonder Swan again. Put it next to the other Wonder Swan.
In B.
This is the
Dang.
one. This is the Wonder Swan Black, and this is the Wonder Swan Blue.
I think one of them kind of does color, but I think the blue one does color, and the other one
I feel like the black one does color.
I have no idea, unconfirmed.
Look at
but
that.
That's
look at
it.
this we did it.
Through
We
it.
did a tier list.
We got there.
Yeah.
It took
And
a couple of hiccups, but we got there.
And I managed to win my first argument ever.
I feel like you didn't win it specifically.
What about the N64?
No, about the
About
PS2.
the PS2.
I feel like you didn't win
Oh.
it specifically. I just remembered that Final Fantasy X was on PlayStation 2, and I was like, I'll give it to this motherfucker.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it.
I have a feeling that there should be S tier console level there. I just have this.
The Game Boy Advance SP is missing. I just realized that.
Yeah.
Well, because
I just realized it
it's because the Game Boy Advance is there. I guess they threw it as like both of them, which is unfair.
too.
It's differences, you know.
The SP had backlight.
I think
Yes.
the
It also
Game
had a
Boy-
rechargeable battery.
Well,
Mhm.
the original. Here's the other thing too. The original DS played Game Boy Advance too.
Yeah,
the
the
DS Lite,
little part at the bottom.
And
the
Lite.
DS and the DS Lite too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
remember
just
that.
trying to think that there should be a portable console in that here.
Dang, does that make the DS an A tier then?
Yeah, we'll put it up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can agree with that.
I'll put that
Yeah,
up there.
I think the DS is a perfect S tier because it not only did it have backwards compatibility with another beloved Nintendo's like portable console, it did things that the N64 could do. Go.
Yeah.
Also had Mario
know.
64.
Right. That's right.
I'm good with this.
Okay,
I'm cool
I'm
with this.
solid with this. Yeah,
Sorry guys for the freaking technical difficulties. I
Oh, it's
apologize.
fun.
But we had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time as well. We had some
a great time.
we had some chat going on. Sorry, I know you're sleeping. It's got to be like 10:30 over there.
Just about, yeah. And
Yeah.
I got working. Luckily, it's only a 4-day work week this week, so it's all good.
Yeah.
All right. So again, sorry
Yeah.
to keep you, but Jeremy, where can the
Ah,
people find you, and what are you about?
What am I about? Well, I'm a union actor and performer outside of being the Nostalgia Alchemist, so I've got a lot of things going on over there. But if you want to find me, just type in the Nostalgia Alchemist anywhere. You're pretty sure to find me. And like I said before, I am always here for whenever you remember why.
That's right. You're dang
Yep.
right. I got Jeremy's Twitch link right there. I was gonna ask him for his link tree, but I forgot. So from
Oh,
that
good.
Twitch link, I think you should be able to get everything. I believe
Pretty
there is a link in his Twitch for everything.
Yeah, there's other stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I think it's linktree.com. The Nostalgia Alchemist.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Again, I thank you.
Please have me back on. This was amazing.
I would love to
Yeah.
have you back on when this whole issue is better. But yeah, it's been great having you. I've been wanting to have you on in some sort of fashion to talk about things like this, and I'm sure there's so much more to talk about.
I have a pretty wide breadth of. Oh yeah, love to come back.
Yeah.
Talk about it. It'd be great.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to have you back, man.
Yes. And
Thanks,
you guys know us. You know us as Cheezy Talk Crew. It is me, El Chizo, or Ish, Ramiro, Ramagali, and Angel. Normally he's up here, but he had to do something, and our resident duck, just is not here at the moment. He's pretty busy. He got a promotion, so he's doing big things. Big boy's doing big things. But from us, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for coming into this preseason episode. We got a whole new season for you guys filled with all kinds of stuff and all kinds of guests. So you might even see Jeremy again this season.
Hey.
I would love that. That'd be great.
Heck yeah. All right. But from us,
All
we
right.
are signing off. Thank you guys so much. And we'll catch you again next week. We'll catch you again next week. All right. Bye, guys. All right, cool.
We did
We
it.
did it.